All right, how's everybody doing? This is Cheech from the Cheech and Manny and Joe Silky Joe show. And today we're going to be doing the best prog rock keyboard players. And we have a great show for you. And we got a lot to talk about. And I'm going to just hand you over to my co-host Manny. How's it going?
Oh, dude, life is good, man. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, it's
The
going to be really
keyboard
good.
players. That's like
No,
a spotlight that I don't know. I don't think it gets shed on. And
no.
I don't know if I'm wrong in that. Just before we hit live, before we went live, I was sharing that the how these keyboard players crafted the sound of progressive rock in many ways.
Oh, yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and it'll had an influence on later genres. Our favorite band of the Galaxy, Rush,
Oh, yeah.
how it'll change their sound. The sound of the 80s, I think is
Oh,
very,
yeah.
very, these keyboard players do.
Look what Rush did. They went from the first album to like Farewell to Kings, which was a
So,
ton of keyboards.
yeah, no, and you see that with I think our favorite one of our favorite bands, and I was telling Joe Cheech that I'm lost in these oceans. I can't get out of here, man.
I
Like,
know, yeah, yeah.
we're doing punk, but I just can't get out of here. But um, it's fascinating just to mention these keyboard players and how they were brilliant and like sort of upgraded the piano, like
Yeah.
as an instrument,
Well, they brought it.
electronics.
They gave us a symphonic sound. They brought classical and jazz, mainly more classical, like
Yeah,
Tony Banks, Emerson,
yeah.
Wakeman. They brought that uh, classical vibe to that. But how's it going, Silky Joe?
Joe,
Everything's good. This will be a very interesting episode because I think it's kind of like it's a weak point for me compared to, the interest I have in the progressive singers or guitarists, or I love rhythm sections. So I don't share the love too much with the keyboardists, and maybe I'll be doing that tonight. I'll get a new appreciation for keyboard players.
You will. And like it's funny with me, I love keyboards. I love watching keyboard players, but in my career as a bass player, there's only very few keyboard players I like playing with. I'd rather never have a keyboard player in the band, coming from being a power trio all my life. Keyboards, either I usually get in their way too much, when I'm playing, because I'm messing with their left hand. But there's a few that I can play with that I really enjoy. More of the guys that play like Greg Allman. He's like to me the perfect accompanist keyboard player. Although he's not on the list, obviously. I mean, if you want to consider progressive blues rock, but.
Hmm.
Yeah, I always
I
wonder
think this
about
one's
like the
organ.
cooperation that a guitarist has to have with the keyboard player, or they kind of like step on each other. They have to kind of weave the music around each other. And it
Hmm.
seems like Steve Howe and Rick Wakeman did that perfectly.
I was
But
gonna
I do
say,
remember an Alex Lifeson quote saying that he struggled to play around the keyboards when Getty started to get really serious with it. I don't know if Cheech agrees with that.
Oh, I agree with that.
oh,
Alex said it
100%.
in the documentary
Yeah,
because
he
Getty
he
went nuts.
he
Getty
won't
went
admit it,
really
but
mad.
Alex hated the keys. He won't admit it, like his hate and frustration for keys, but he hated it.
Yeah.
And
By the
Getty was
time you
upset.
by the time you get to hold your fire, it's overbearing
Oh, it
with
was,
all the
oh,
keys.
dude, it is.
You know.
It kind of drives the sound. And talk about the 80s sound, which,
Yeah.
um, and we'll talk about it when we talk about Geddy Lee. And I love how Joe mentioned Howe and Wakeman's magic, because I feel like in one of the greatest genres, progressive rock, you see this beautiful blending of it. Now,
Yeah.
and you mentioned also the Allman Brothers. I feel, but their keys, I could be wrong, Cheech, isn't it more like organ? Organ?
Well, they had two keyboard players. They had Rick. Uh, my. Sorry, I was at the temple. My brain. I might be a little slow. My brain. In our 4 hour conversation last night. Just um,
Yeah,
Greg
planning this
Allman,
episode.
Greg Allman, and Joe. Who was the other keyboard player? I can't believe I'm blanking. In the Allman Brothers.
Was his last name Levitt?
Yes, yes.
The
So God forgive me for this. I should be shot always. But so there was more of a lead keyboard player, like on Eat a Peach and stuff like that. And then Greg always played, and there was times Greg was the only
No,
keyboard player.
but with the sound of the keys, wasn't it more organ, or it could be was
Oh, yeah, yeah,
no,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I'm
It was,
saying. Like in the
yeah,
blues, because of
yeah,
the church tradition, you had the more organ sound. But in progressive rock,
yeah,
you hear it. Wakeman takes advantage of that, but I feel
yeah,
like it's a little bit different. Like you hear that
yeah,
organ sound, but it's used to like Bach levels on close to the edge, like kind of at the 16 point. But the keyboard they mess around with like the sounds, like what the Beatles were doing on the Moog synthesizer
exactly.
they were
Yeah,
starting to do. So they were trying to now they were elevating that instrument, the keys. But that's
yeah.
what this episode's going to be about. But okay, Cheech. So how do you want to start this? Like, where do you want to begin?
All right. So I'll start off with I'll talk about, the three masters, and I'll just talk about them, and then we can add, to it. So the first one obviously is going to be Keith Emerson. And this isn't our top picks. This is just I'm going to go through. I have 13 on my list.
Mhm.
Uh Keith Emerson, virtuoso, blending classical, jazz, rock, great showman. He would put a knife in the organ and have one note hold down while he would just jam over that droning note. He used feedback. He would use string scrapes where he would scrape the piano with his fingers to get like a harp sound, which he got from Charles Ives. Then he played acoustic piano like a beast, and he was a pioneer of Moog and other synthesizers. He actually put Moog on the map during the solo during Lucky Man. He can play very fast, mind-blowing licks and then very slow in emotion. Some of the famous songs, Lucky Man ending is just insanity on the Moog. Carnival 9, Fear, Fanfare for the Common Man, Barbarian. Oh my God, I know we talked about that.
Mhm.
Tarkus Trilogy, Brain Salad Surgery. That's all I got to say. Any thoughts on probably, the Jimi Hendrix of keyboards, in my opinion? How do you feel, Joe?
I think ELP works because they don't have a lead guitarist. I
That's
Yeah.
mean,
great.
they'll have Greg Lake play acoustic on
Right.
songs, and of course that wonderful singing voice.
Mhm.
But yeah, there was a lot of room for Keith Emerson to explore because he didn't have to compete with any guitars, really, just the bass.
Yeah. And Manny, tell the funny story that what your father said about Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Oh, how he thought he was like the lead person.
Yeah.
So, Joe, you'll laugh at this. So my dad, all this music reached Central America. Like my dad said that he used to, um, like back when radio was the only way you could listen to this, because in like these countries you can't really afford long plays. He calls them long plays, like LPs, unless you had money. So, and he would hear Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Now he thought that was just one person, and it was Emerson.
Yeah.
And he thought Emerson was the whole band because of Keith
Wow.
Emerson. So he thought it was just like he was the Keith Emerson, like Emerson Lake. But he thought that was one name, and Keith Emerson was everything. So, and that's how I came across ELP. But what's strange is that my dad's favorite song is from the beginning, and and when I first listened to it, first of all, it's a beautiful acoustic number. I got a taste of
Oh yeah.
Greg Lake's ethereal, ghostly voice.
Oh
But
yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, but this doesn't sound like progressive rock. And then I put on like Tarkus or whatever or some
Yeah.
other tracks from like
Brain
uh
salad surgery or something.
Trilogy, yeah,
Yeah.
and then I heard it. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny because Keith Emerson, for some odd reason, I don't know if this is correct assumption, but I guess for my dad it was that he was the band.
Yeah.
Um, uh,
Well, when you listen to like the end of Lucky Man, like you could just have Lucky Man. I mean, the brilliance of Lucky Man is, to me, the song is just a brilliant song. But the
yeah.
ending, the Moog, I'll never forget that day we were in the temple and we were just listening to the ending
Mm.
of Lucky Man, through those loudspeakers, and it was like, and I'm thinking like, These people upstairs have no idea what they're listening
The,
to. You're Emerson going
those
insane, you
those
know?
$5 speakers up in the ceiling.
Yeah. But like that is a great example of Emerson just ripping the Moog and introducing the Moog to the prog world because it
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
quite introduced yet. That's what he is
He
also known
really
for.
explored territories with it. I know the Beatles were one of the first ones to acquire, or because they had the money in their
Yeah,
studio. There's a
yeah,
great picture of, I think it's George Harrison messing around with it.
yeah. They
It's
were
kind of
so
famous.
primitive. Yeah,
It's weird. Like if young people, I say young people, but if this generation saw that instrument, they'd be like, "What is that?" Like, but
yeah.
Keith Emerson is so iconic that um I think the it's funny how he overshadows Palmer. And by the way, I didn't even know who Greg Lake was for the longest time. I thought it was Keith Emerson singing, and I guess I have to blame my dad and in the best way because I was like, you thought that was Emerson. And as Joe, you'll laugh at this too. He thought Pink Floyd was the guy singing too, like Pink Floyd. Like he
Like
thought
in
they
the
were
song,
singing.
have a cigar.
Yeah, what Roy Harper sings
Yeah, yeah,
on that lyric, right? Because he made that mistake, he thinks. But anyway, the point is, like with Keith Emerson, he has such an. I love what Joe said that no guitar player, which by the way I didn't know
yeah,
much before, like, and I didn't even know Greg Lake was a bass player. Forget about Palmer. I mean, I didn't, and
yeah.
Keith Emerson takes over. The keys are a big part of the sound.
Well, and the drums too, because Palmer's no slouch. I mean, he's
But
doing
I feel
like
like, but
these.
generally for the people, they don't think of Palmer. They think of when they think of ELP, they think Emerson.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
No,
definitely.
I think I don't know. I could be wrong. But obviously Greg Lake is, as we know, as our nerdiness of progressive rock, his influence is insane. Just starting with
Oh,
King
his
Crimson. But
vocals.
I
Yeah,
think few people know that. I don't think apart from Father
no,
Christmas. But anyway, the point is like Keith Emerson is such a powerhouse, and
he
his
is.
keyboard player, you gotta like keys if you're gonna listen to ELP because they're all over the
Yeah,
place.
it is. It's all keys, and I love what Joe said. There was no guitar to distract
Mhm.
it, and he is Jimi Hendrix on keyboards. He
Mhm.
used feedback. He did everything Hendrix did. He was flamboyant. He looked so cool. He looked like a badass. So Keith Emerson, man, he's the man.
And I do wonder if he
Um,
had influence on Wakeman too, on his theatricality.
well,
I wonder.
they
I
came up to
wonder.
get they came up together.
Right.
So you could be influenced by your peers, definitely. And they both. I don't know if Emerson studied at the Royal Academy,
Mm.
but you know, a lot of I know. I think Tony Banks did, and Rick Wakeman definitely
Mhm.
did. These guys were like they went to school to be classically
Yep.
trained, like you know, and
Yep.
then rock. They were studying piano as kids,
Yep.
you know, and then they joined rock bands with this
Well, that's what's really cool.
ability.
You know
Yeah,
who did that too as a side story? George Martin of the Beatles brought that expertise and knowledge to the Beatles. Because, dude, I'll be honest with you, the Beatles didn't know anything about classical music. They were
yeah,
just poor lads from Liverpool. Oh, not even poor, but at the time, like,
right.
obviously because England was going through a hard time, recession or what. I feel like England's always going through a recession, but
Always, even in the
it's
50s and
weird. Yeah,
60s.
I'm just realizing that. But George
Well, well,
Martin,
well, after the 50s, you know, they're recovering from World War II, so it was a
right? No,
disaster.
it makes sense. But George Martin wasn't. His arranging skills were off the charts, musical theory, compos like he brought that
Yeah,
sound. So going back,
yeah,
Keith Emerson being very studied.
yeah,
Because it's funny when you listen to ELP, it it's different. It's like you're listening to the greats of the orchestral world, but through electricity, like
yeah,
electrical instruments. And it's
yep,
just, yeah, that's why ELP is ELP. I mean, they're
yeah.
famous for that reason.
One of the best.
You have to
Um,
make a note that at come Christmas time, Keith Emerson did put out a Christmas album in 1988,
oh
very
wow,
simply called The Christmas Album by Keith Emerson.
wow.
I'll
I
have to
never
look
knew
that up.
that.
I have to look that up.
Thanks.
Yeah, because we
Thank
have
you,
a
Joe.
next year. I think we're gonna have like a progressive rock Christmas episode or
We
something.
are.
I'm trying to write this or plan it.
Oldfield did a Christmas album. Tall, we're already planning for Christmas. 11 months away.
Yeah.
Um,
The episode will write itself.
they
Oh yeah.
have been. It's been pretty scary how they've been. And just to throw it out there, me and Manny are writing a movie script. And if there's any directors, producers, you want to hear the funniest movie ever, please contact us because I think we wrote one of the funniest. It could be a classic movie. I think the script that we're writing right now.
Yeah, we'll write the script and then hopefully it's some sort of director will contact us.
Yeah, and then I have to quit my job.
And you have to figure
Anyway,
out who's going to do the soundtrack.
oh yeah,
I think it's obvious, Joe.
But it's a comedy. It's a comedy script.
It's a comedy.
it's all comedy. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all comedy. But honestly, I think our soundtrack could be a mix of everything from the podcast.
No,
From
but you guys would do the soundtrack. Your band.
that's true. Oh,
Dude,
Potter's Field.
you guys, we just call you in session.
Oh, hell yeah,
That's what I'm
Potter's Field.
saying. It's already a pace for itself.
So we have so if you're a director out there, we have everything. We have the music. And we have it pretty much written in our heads. We just haven't put it out in paper yet, but we could describe to you what it will be about. And we can't stop laughing every time we talk about it.
It's just like it's temple humor. Like it's so funny.
It's insane. And it's imagine if it's true. Anyway. Um, okay, the next Rick Wakeman, classically trained keyboard player. A virtuoso, classically influenced, known for his fast arpeggios, playing organ synthesizers. Um, he really made like a wall of sound with the keyboards. For Yes, he filled that sound up. And he would, use Moogs. He would use Hammonds, a lot of jazz influence, a lot of classical influence, and he was also flamboyant by wearing costumes. Um, and what else do I have on it? I said he would stack his keyboards up on top of each other, which was very, very cool. He loved classical music. He loved Baroque. That was his influence. He used a lot of different scales, elements of orchestral flourishes. He would weave into rock songs that were amazing. The way he would do those flourishes and weave it into rock songs. Great stage presence. Um, he would improvise his solos with jazz elements, and he did a lot of great solo albums. The one I think, Six Wives of Henry VIII is my favorite. Journey to the Center of the Earth. Some of my favorite songs by him is Roundabout, the solo in it, Awaken, Close to the Edge, and Heart of the Sunrise. So, any comments on that, Joe?
Can't beat those selections that you just named. But yeah, I'm just in awe of the fact that his discography is so huge. He was in the studio so often. He was so prolific. He was so creative. I think he had a reputation that he could go in a studio and if he was just told basically what was needed, he could come up with something on the spot. And I think he was very good at doing something in only one or two takes.
Yeah.
So he was just like everybody wanted him to play on their albums. He played on David Bowie's Space Oddity at the beginning, and he
Mhm.
played on Black Sabbath's Sabbath Bloody Sabbath album.
Zabra, yeah.
Now, it
Yeah.
may have only been one song, one or two songs, but I was just so impressed that he was so prolific, like he never had a day off. I mean, he's the British maximum session guy. The only American I think that could equate to that is someone like the great Leon Russell, who was on
Yeah.
so many big hits.
Hmm.
Or,
Yeah.
the guys on the Wrecking Crew, the Hal Blaines and the Carol Kays,
Oh yeah, yeah.
that thousands of recordings are out there, beyond what he did with Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. He did sessions and stuff.
Yeah,
He's
he has a lot of stuff. I was just looking at his discography on Apple Music. Like, yes, he's so prolific. But then, what he does within Yes is just it's
yeah.
just probably was the most legendary stuff that and it's funny because he changed it's Yes. Who was the keyboard player before Wakeman Cheech that came in?
Tony K.
Tony K. So Tony K is
Yes.
interesting. Um, what did I say? Like the band were moving in a direction. He like didn't really agree with it.
But
Um,
the funny thing about, and I have Tony K. I'm going to talk about him. I should save it, but I'm going to say it now. They kicked him out because he only would play organ and piano, and Wakeman
well,
had
that's
all the
no, no, no.
bells and whistles.
He wanted to keep it more of that blues because,
Yeah,
and this comes from church music from the South, but
right.
um, he wanted to keep it that classic blues,
Yeah,
rhythm and blues, classic rock. But Wake, and again, the other band members were already moving direction of more symphonic, baroque, jazzier, and for this, you're gonna have to get a keyboard player, and obviously that's Rick Wakeman because
right.
immediately on Roundabout, um, uh, Heart of the Sunrise,
Yeah.
and One Distance, uh,
Yeah. Long
Long
distance
Distance
runaround.
Turnaround, dude,
Yeah.
he just creates
Well,
Yes's sound. It's insane.
I could hear it in my head. I can't stop right now. Roundabout, that like that shuffling kind of organ solo while they're singing over in the roundabout, and you hear the keys in the back. It's
Mhm,
amazing.
mhm.
But Tony K gets kicked out, and then a decade or 14 years later, 90125, he plays on the biggest selling Yes album of
Uh,
all time. What's the irony of that?
Dude, there's a lot of irony in there. And it's funny because uh see that he on that album he simplifies the keys to the point where they kind of I mean I'm trying to be charitable and nice here, but
They're
but
barely there.
yeah,
I
and
mean,
when they
they're
are,
there.
they're so cheesy. But anyway, but
If
um
Wakeman played on it, it would not be
oh dude,
commercial.
he'll change the whole sound. And actually, I don't know, Joe, if you were the one that said this or one of the links you sent that album was pretty much a John Anderson solo album. Like he was trying to, is that true or is that what you
Which
that
album?
told me that or I don't know, one of you guys.
90125.
Yeah, it was
I think
pretty
it
much,
was Cinema. Wasn't it Cinema? The stuff
he was
from
trying to create a band and but a lot of those songs were gonna it was gonna be like a John Anderson solo album. Like
No, they were going to call the band Cinema, but when John Anderson joined it, they're like, well, we might as well just call it Yes.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
they
that
were
makes sense. That
yeah,
makes
they
sense.
were
Yeah.
written. I think they were written already,
That makes sense. And that's why it's like not Yes really, but yeah, it's a totally different band. But Wakeman, what's amazing about his playing, and it's actually really funny. There, have you two seen the movie The School of Rock with Jack Black?
Yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Classic. And there's a classic scene where Lawrence, the classical piano player, is given homework and Jack Black, Mr. Schneebly gives him Fragile and tells him to listen to the keys on Roundabout, and he quotes, "It'll kick the musical music out your butt." Unquote. Like, he can't curse because he's a kid, but just what you're saying is like, dude, and those keys sound like progressive rock. Like,
Oh
it's
yeah,
amazing. It's a mix, and I think on the album that where he perfects this is Close to the Edge,
definitely.
where it is just, especially on that 16-minute mark, where you said that he builds a wall of sound. You hear it. It's so ethereal,
Oh,
so
definitely.
heavenly. It sounds something that you would hear in like a Mozart composition, like in like
Yeah,
where that music is able to create emotional landscapes. It's
yeah.
beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Then quickly bring it back, tie it in with uh Howe's jazzy guitar, and obviously I'm not a music theorist, but his jazz I hear this jazzy influence on Close to the Edge. And then behind me, some of his best keyboard work, even though he hates this
Oh
album,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it's very, you're gonna have to listen to this to, and obviously on uh his prolific, he's prolific. I mean, this dude is music, music and music. Like he's able to do a lot, and just for his keys, I mean, he's legendary.
Oh, it's amazing. He's unbelievable. You know,
And his
um,
theatrics too. It's funny, these keyboard players are very theatrical in the progressive rock
when
genre.
you would think
And
like
the
a
only
keyboard
exception
player,
is Tony Banks in Genesis, which hopefully you're going to talk
yeah.
about soon. But the most part, Keith Emerson is very theatrical. Rick
Oh yeah,
Wakeman is very theatrical. So I wonder if there
yeah.
was some sort of common thing here, or in the scene, or whatever. But
And there was a funny story that I guess it was when Rick Wakeman quit and before they got Patrick Moritz, the manager of Yes called Emerson. Emerson had just got off a plane and was ready to, go to bed. And he called him up like 11 o'clock at night. And he says, "Hey, Keith, you want to join Yes? We need a keyboard player." And Keith Emerson was like, torn, I don't know, brain salad surgery. He was like, "I just toured the world with a successful album. I don't want to join Yes. Why would I want to leave Emerson, Lake and Palmer? We're bigger than you guys, you know." So there was some competition between the two, as far as like I guess it was done in fun and they all were friends and everything. Just like Chris Squire was gonna play bass for Emerson, Lake and Palmer before Greg Lake, but he said I'm not a lead singer, so but anyway, I'll jump to Tony Banks. I gotta say underrated. Underrated.
He's
You
very
know.
underrated. And another guy who in this solo work, he has a lot of interesting stuff too.
Oh yeah.
Funny
And I
Banks.
just gotta say for me, Foxtrot says it all.
Yeah. I mean,
I mean
starting with Nursery
Foxtrot,
Crime, but Foxtrot, and then I would
those are
argue,
he shines, I think, a lot on Foxtrot. Like in an Emerson or Rick Wakeman way. He just fucking goes
he's
nuts.
kind of it's interesting because so ELP trio, right? We said no guitar player. Occasional, and actually that makes sense. The acoustic numbers, the solo acoustic
Yeah.
numbers, by the way, just thinking because there's no key, so we'll keep it just let Lake on acoustic or whatever,
Yeah.
um, or 12 string. Yes has I would say there's like a tension in Yes. I don't know if you guys hear it, but that's the magic where each guy fits in, and there are masters of like Chris Squire, Howe, Bruford. You got
Everybody's a
yeah,
master. Everybody's a master
yep,
at their
yep.
craft.
Genesis is, in my opinion, a little different. Where Genesis is Genesis, and then Peter Gabriel.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so Tony Banks like fills in the spots, but not competitively. Like in Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
I would kind of compare him to like a humble keyboard player.
He's a support guy, but he does like what's that one song?
No, no, no.
Watchers in the Sky, like
Oh
the
well,
intro.
or even on Pip of Firth or Firth of Fifth,
Yeah,
where he has that he's able to like he incorporates so many sounds. Like, he's like a blend, and
yeah,
he creates one of the greatest key piano lines beginning that song, and in his playing is so like it's like a Van Gogh painting or something. It adds a
yeah.
beautiful sketch,
He's a sculptor
and what he
or
does, and he feeds into Peter Gabriel's like vision and soundscapes.
yeah, yeah.
um
It all worked for that band.
yeah,
Everything worked for Genesis, and I mean, I'm not gonna say. I mean, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and Yes, probably were more virtuistic and better, maybe better musicians in the
Mhm.
sense. Not to diss,
No, because that would be
like
like, yeah,
Phil,
that would be like
not not
comparing.
not not to diss Phil Collins and Rutherford, but yeah, you got to admit Chris Squire, is better than Rutherford, and Bruford is, better than Phil Collins, I think, but as a unit, Genesis is a better band than maybe Yes.
I would agree with that because starting with Nursery Crime, Foxtrot, Selling England by the Pound, which is I think is one of the greatest albums of all time, must listen. And then hard conceptual listen, but amazing. The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. Yeah, like they're Genesis. And then Tony Banks is such an integral part of it. Like if you remove him, it'll change the sound of Genesis. Like he's that
Oh yeah,
he needs to
yeah.
be there, along
Okay.
with Steve Hackett, Rutherford on bass, and the inclusion of Collins on drums, which finally solidified the classic Genesis that we know. And not to mention, dude, Banks in the 80s, the influence on the 80s sound.
Oh yeah, I
Ooh,
mean the commercial.
even though he
Yeah,
simplified his sound, the
yeah,
classic, like those classic 80s keys
yeah.
that you have an
Abacab,
Abaca.
Abacab is
Yeah,
amazing.
Duke.
That's supportive. Like that's a that that that's the whole song. That those keyboards make Abacab.
Yep. Yep. And
And
it's
you,
so 80s. Like I know a lot of people
yeah,
are gonna be like, "Oh, this sucks because it's 80s or whatever." But they're the ones responsible for building the 80s like sound. Like Phil Collins was on the
yeah,
forefront. And but Banks along with other players obviously, but he definitely was like propulsing that 80s sound that was gonna
yeah.
get very popular with a lot of bands.
Just Tony Banks trivia. Why did they call the song Abacab, Joe?
Well, that's a musical term, isn't it? ABAC.
No, I
I,
thought maybe
I don't know.
um, it's
I
the
don't
chord.
know.
It's a chord changes in the song. A
Yes,
B.
it's a musical term.
It's like you go to A, then you go to B, then you go to C. It's like the chord changes. It's not, it's like the change. It's like if I'm playing an A chord, then they go to the B chord, and they put all of them
It's
together
a, it's
to
a,
form
it's a chord sequence.
the
Wasn't it
sequence. Yeah,
ABACAB?
whatever have
ABACAB.
however you spell it, that's the sequence of the
Abacab.
chord. Yeah, that's the sequence of the chords because he had it written on what do you call it music paper, manuscript paper, and they said
Yeah.
let's call it that. Just I don't know, a trivia.
First
Uh,
came Abacab, and then after that was Susu Studio.
oh yeah, God. But
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 Banks didn't play on that. That was something else. But
but
um,
even in what did he play on in the '80s? Like with the real '80s cheese ball stuff? Because even the keyboards then he embraced that. He
well,
embraced that
Ooh.
80 Tony Banks.
no, that's what I was trying to tell you, dude. He's on Genesis self-titled debut. He's on Invisible Touch all over the place, but he plays those cheesy keyboards. That's
Yeah,
actually
I
a great
mean,
song. I have if you guys definitely listen to Invisible Touch. That was my dad's album. I have his vinyl.
oh, it's a
Um,
great album. It's a great
Yeah, he
song.
has a cassette tape too. I'm sure you guys have a copy somewhere, but because it's
Yeah,
so massive. But there's a song called The Brazilian, and he has a lot of sequence keys in that. It's like an
yeah.
instrumental. But it's kind of cheesy because of the 80s sound. Like the 80s,
Well,
like when
he
you hear
did
like
what.
a 1984 by Van Halen, like that cheesy, like you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, but that actually Van Halen, I love like I'll Wait. That's a great keyboard sound.
Right.
The beginning of
But
I'll
you
Wait.
gotta admit, like Susu Studio, I love that song, but it sounds dated today. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it
It
just you hear it, the
sounds like
80s.
A Casio keyboard that you'd have,
Yeah, no,
laying
you
around the
hear it and
house.
you're like, oh my goodness, the 80s. Like, there we go.
Almost sounds as bad as me playing Tom Sawyer on a Tonka toy.
Did I hear you just mention Van Halen?
Yeah, I'll wait. You know the
That's
keyboard.
well, it's pretty funny with if you Google Dutch keyboard players in progressive rock, Eddie Van Halen's name comes up, and he's
He's Dutch.
That's why he was hated. No I'm kidding.
Eddie Van Halen is Dutch.
He's Dutch. The Dutch. Oh, that's
And
funny.
one other thing I found interesting about Tony Banks was within the band Genesis, he was very, very close friends with Peter Gabriel. And what was
Yeah,
interesting about that was that the most intense arguments they ever had in the studio was between Tony Banks and Peter Gabriel.
Hmm.
Even though they're the very best of
Arctic.
friends, when it came to
Art,
music, neither one wanted to budge.
yeah.
There were times when Tony Banks would come into the studio with a finished song, and I know Peter Gabriel was quoted as saying that they always viewed their songwriting as a collaborative effort with all the band members taking part in it. But there were times that Tony would come in with what he figured was a finished product, and he wouldn't budge on changing the music at all.
Yeah.
That sounds
So,
right.
and I assume they're still lifelong friends to this day.
Yeah. I've been in bands like that where somebody would bring in a finished song and you'd have to learn it their way, but you're like,
Mhm.
why don't you change the bridge or whatever? And then you get into these artistic uh,
Well,
boxing
no,
matches.
but the problem is with Genesis, at the end of the day, it's like Roger Waters and Pink Floyd. That's not like
Oh,
that
forget
was
about it.
actually what like split the band up. But uh Gabriel was like most of the old Genesis, like the weird stuff for Collins is Gabriel. So it would make sense like he has these sounds. Banks, even though he's brilliant musically, conceptually for the albums, that wasn't Banks. Together was a collaborative effort, but
Yeah.
that's why Banks brought something. It wouldn't really fit. And he kind of expressed himself um when Gabriel left.
Yeah.
Then obviously because of desperate need, because Phil Collins like, all right, who's gonna lead, who's gonna sing, who's gonna write the lyrics now? Like, what? All right, then you kind of, and that's where a lot of the arrangements on like albums on the Trick of the Tail, Wind and Wuthering, and then there were three. They sound busy. Like if you look like, and now a lot of it was like Tony Banks's like musical stuff that he was bringing in, and then
Yeah.
obviously when Phil Collins gets really cocky and take over, like I think that Banks kind of like
Yeah,
backseat a little bit
the
and just
band went all the way in the back seat because Phil Collins dominated the '80s. Let's
yeah,
face it. Michael Jackson, you had him and Billy Joel, but Phil Collins was definitely
yeah.
might be
No,
number two next
no,
to Michael Jackson.
I think the last time you hear Banks is definitely keys up front is on Duke, where
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
actually
But
hear
that's still '80s, right? That's
1980.
80.
It
Yeah,
kicks off
so
the
that's
80s. Yeah.
that's almost like I consider that almost like '70s. In the '80s, it's still trickling down from the '70s, like radio rock, you know what I mean?
I
The
can see that.
80s, the '80s is like the cheese ball
Right.
stuff, you know what I mean? Like when
No,
he got cheesy.
and one of the accusations that was launched against Invisible Touch was that it was a Phil Collins solo record. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. Like, especially if you hear it, and because he had so many solo albums at that point, were starting to sound a little indistinguishable. Apart from
Yeah.
like, if you listen to Invisible Touch, though, you can hear the keys, like, but you can
Yeah.
definitely tell that if Banks brought musical ideas, I don't think Collins took them. Um, he became kind of Gabriel, like
Yeah,
like leading the sound.
back then they would probably have producers like the best in the world that would say, "No, we're not going to do that. We're going to do it this way because we know what was going to make a hit." And that's how the '80s was all about songwriters
Yeah,
and producers.
yeah.
Who knows if Genesis even wrote a lot of those songs? Maybe they had an outside writer.
No, no, I think they did.
Yeah,
Mostly a lot of collaborative effort, to be
yeah.
fair, but a lot of it Phil Collins. He was leading.
Like for instance, there was a guy named Desmond Child who wrote a lot. He was a lyricist, and he would go in and I
Nah,
think he
dude, I
wrote for
think
he wrote for Bon Jovi and he
no.
wrote for people like that.
No one fact checked me out there, but no, I think Phil Collins was a powerhouse, man. He had so
Oh
much
yeah.
music that I think he was giving songs to people.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true.
He,
Yeah.
he
I
kind of
mean,
became everything, which
like I
crazy,
said,
right?
Phil Collins was so huge in the '80s, man. He did power ballads. He did the poppiest of the pop.
He did
He
Sister
was
Studio.
it's just a studio, I mean, and he had Lee Sklar on the bass. How awesome is that? Think about it. Peter Gabriel had what's his name? Tony Levin
Hmm.
on bass, and Phil Collins had Lee Sklar. Both of these guys came up in the prog world. Like
They're
Tony
trained.
Levin, Tony Levin played with Crimson, and Lee Sklar played on Billy Cobham's Spectrum, which is like a prog fusion jazz album that's like one of the greatest ever, ever, ever. I didn't put it in our prog thing because it's more fusion,
Mhm.
but isn't that funny? Like those guys were like, doing '80s stuff. So
Yeah,
these prog rock
but
bass
dude,
players are,
they kind of built the '80s sound. Like a lot of them, they were
yeah,
so talented that But Tony Banks is legendary. I think you definitely
yeah,
people out there listen to Nursery Crime,
yeah.
Foxtrot. I'm gonna sound like a broken record, like no pun intended, but uh, Selling England by the Pound and The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. Those are
I just
classic.
have, I'm just going to talk about a sound, and you guys tell me if you agree. Complexed atmospheric soundscape, like we said, layering keyboards, um, playing piano, melodic lines, complex chord progressions. That's one thing I loved about him. He had a lot of complexity in his chord progressions, great rhythm patterns, amazing solos. Once again, like Wakeman, he had sweeping arpeggios and he would play clusters of notes that was like so cool. The Lamb Lays Down on Broadway, selling by the pound. Classic Banks works. And I think we forgot Trick of the Tail to mention. I
Oh,
think you
I
meant
purposely split it between Gabriel and my end because
right.
that's even though oh wow, Sugar Tale is an amazing album, but I always like to focus on classic Genesis to really hear
Yeah.
Tony Banks.
My favorite all time three, Supper's Ready, Watchers in the Sky, and maybe I'm saying a
Yeah, I
fifth.
think it's Birth of Fifth or Fifth of Birth, one of those.
Yeah, that's just fucking
Oh,
stick.
just the beginning. And I love
Um,
later on the song, he puts on that effect. Wow, 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 wow. Like, dude, oh, it's like,
yeah,
what a
that's not when it checks
piano
out.
line. Only Banks. Banks is so orchestral that way. And on Watchers in the Sky too, when you listen to it, you hear that classic prog rock sound. So definitely amazing. I think we lost Cheech. Oh, let me put a pause there. Hold on.
Mhm.
Yeah, so Cheech, I was saying like with your favorite Watcher in the Sky, like
Yeah.
the beginning, like that classic Oregon rock prog rock sound is on full
Oh yeah.
swing. And then Supper's Ready,
Amazing.
he's working overtime. I mean,
Oh, it totally is. It's amazing. All right, so I'm gonna throw the ball to you guys. I know Manny, this is one of your favorite bands. Joe calls him Rick Wright. I guess Richard Wright. Want to
Rick,
talk about him?
yeah,
Rick Wright.
Rick. Yeah,
From the
I think
mighty Pink
Gilmore calls him
Floyd.
Rick.
Hmm?
From the mighty Pink Floyd.
Yes, of course.
The amazing Richard Wright. Yeah, from Pink Floyd. Dude, he is legendary. Just for what his role in Pink Floyd's sound. And it's so sad because I think he got like effed over by Waters and eventually like Gilmore brought him back in the band, but he's still like that album A Momentary Lapse of Reason, which is like another 80s album that was, it's a good album, but but Richard Wright, starting with metal and echoes, like dude, the sounds he creates, he's good at now. He's an example where he's definitely like, don't get me wrong, like he must be classically trained. I'm not 100% sure on his like academic. Maybe you'll fill in those spots, but what I do
Yeah.
know is that on the sound of Pink Floyd, he is so good in his music and sound of sort of like creating like the soul and emotion of the song.
Hmm.
So, for example, like on Dark Side of the Moon, one of his like he's more like it's funny. He's really like he's like Nick Mason, not the flashiest.
Yeah.
Nick Mason from Pink Floyd. Definitely not like the most, the greatest like a Carl Palmer or Richard Wright, or Keith Emerson. But he's able to like on Dark Side of the Moon, you hear his piano line on Us versus Them. It's
Yeah.
one of the most, if you listen to it very carefully, it's so beautiful. And what he does also with on Wish You Were Here on Shine On You Crazy Diamond, that bookends the album, both parts. If you hear his synthesizer work is so, especially on part two, so amazing. It could make you tear up too because in his in his music, in his keys, he echoes. He sort of. People have said that he's the voice of Sid Barrett in the keys.
Oh wow.
Which is that's an amazing way to think about it, and you hear it.
Yeah.
And Richard Wright, like he seems like such a humble dude in interviews, but it's sad because Waters kind of kind of does him dirty, fires him, agrees to let him play to tour the Wall, but sadly you notice that his role starts to get cut
Yeah.
as Pink Floyd progresses. So that's kind of sad. So he didn't, in my opinion, he shines on Echoes metal. He
Hmm.
shines on Dark Side. Wish You Were Here. A little bit in Animals. Comfortably Numb. There's a mix of where it's kind of hard to tell, like his like sounds within the album.
Yeah.
But to the point, like yeah, he's. I don't think he's sort of like he wasn't utilized enough. Like in my
Yeah.
opinion, but Dark Side. I mean, and again, Echoes. You can hear him. Beautiful player. Like not the most
Awesome.
flashiest. That's what Pink Floyd is. They're not the most flashiest. Like Nick
Pink
Mason.
Floyd is not a very visual band to watch. You have to listen,
That's
right?
that's
I
the
mean, what did
thing.
they used to do at their shows? Like the Animals tour, I think, which was I think a stadium tour. they had the inflatable pigs that would be
Yeah.
like blimps over the stadium, and
Yeah.
then they
Yeah.
had the wall. Uh, you know, so yeah, they were not visual. You had to really really listen and pay
Mhm.
attention.
Yeah, they were your classic musicians. They were just up there playing and jamming, doing their thing, you know. They didn't.
Richard
I don't
Wright.
think. I remember. Did you ever go to the Hayden Planetarium, Joe, and see the laser shows in the
Heard about
80s?
those.
I've
I,
been
w-
to them. I've seen it.
yeah,
Yeah.
those are pretty cool. I went when at a very young age. It was like blown away. It was pretty. They should bring that stuff back, right? That
No,
stuff was so
they
cool.
do. They do still have it.
Oh, they still have that?
Yeah, at certain
Really?
places. Yeah, the laser shows. I've seen ads for it.
Oh wow, for Pink Floyd?
So I might go because yeah, it's on my bucket list. I've seen it. So I got
Because
just to get the experience.
that was an '80s thing. Like it would be on the radio, the Hayden Planetarium. Come and see the Pink Floyd laser show. Um. So Richard Wright, atmospheric layering jazz influence
Mhm.
harmonies. So he has a jazz influence. He created a sonic landscape with emotional tone for the music. He used synths and organs to create a sense of space, like you said, unlike Emerson or Wakeman. So he used space
Yeah, that
as an instrument,
that's what's brilliant about him. I'm
yeah,
telling you, if you listen, some homework for you guys and for the kids out there, listen to Us versus Them on Us and Them. I say Us versus Them. Us and Them on Dark Side of the Moon. His beginning piano lines and they're taken. I'm pretty sure they're taken. Like they have a jazziness to them, but if you listen to them, they're so beautiful. Before the sax comes in, if you listen to that song, you hear his piano playing. It's like tears will come in if you really pay
yeah,
attention.
yeah,
Like, beautiful player. Like
yeah.
that's what's different about him. Like he's able to create like a landscape, an echo. Like
Oh
that's a good
yeah,
way to put it. And, oh, very similar to David Gilmour, where he uses a guitar to create
yeah.
the
Creating
atmosphere.
painting the picture. Um, he had some classical influence, neoclassical harmonies, jazz inspired chord voicings, influenced by Miles Davis and the great Bill Evans, who was a great jazz pianist.
Yeah.
He's best described knowing not to play, letting the notes ring out. That's what
Mhm.
one critic wrote about him. Shine on You, Crazy Diamond, the mini moog and the clavinet on there, echoes the piano through a Leslie speaker, and Sheep, he uses Fender Rhodes.
Mhm.
Those are some of the, I think, classic sounds to get, that he
And
got.
you hear it in the beginning,
That,
yeah.
that Fender Rhodes, sound, which is so cool. So anything on Rick Wright?
He
Anything
is
else?
so atmospheric, and it's just like back in the day, I had a very good turntable and stereo system and good headphones, and listening to metal and Dark Side of the Moon, your eyes closed, just in the dark. I mean, you feel like you're in space. You feel like
Yeah,
you're in another world, and a lot of that
Mhm.
ambiance or mood was created by Richard Wright. Just absolutely incredible. So I guess he would be one of those kinds of people we think of as a sonic architect.
I love that word.
I think
Yeah.
that's a good way of describing him. Like he was less about the flash. Like again, like one of the criticisms launched against Keith Emerson is like he's too like busy
Yeah.
right, in his plan. It makes sense. Yes, obviously with the keyboard solos and all that, and
Everybody was busy,
everybody.
but, but
Tony Banks was the one that sort of was similar, but he definitely was using that, bam, bam,
Tony
bam, bam,
Banks did it. He did it perfect. He was a
right.
perf. He was a perfect
He's the
blend.
perfection of like what Emerson and Wakeman, but really great. Versus and I guess that's why people don't think Pink Floyd is a progressive rock band for that reason, because they instead they instead are like Debussy, where they create like if you just isolate Wright's piano playing,
Yeah,
you'll notice how and again I don't know where I read this that on especially on Wish You Were Here that his piano and key parts are Sid Barrett's voice in Pink Floyd.
yeah, oh
And
yeah,
that's a wonderful way of thinking about it because, that's when you listen to it, like, yeah, they're so emotional, so haunting. A lot of his like And he's very, yeah, I love what you said that he lets the notes ring. Like it's
Yeah.
great. Well, versus like Emerson would be like,
Oh,
like he would
oh
just
yeah,
he would just lay
legato,
1,000
staccato.
notes
Yeah,
at you. You're like, man, all right. Like
you're
the other was
getting hit
more
in the
contemplative.
face. Yeah,
And I think
yeah,
that's why a lot of people think Pink Floyd isn't prog rock, which is obviously not true. But I think that's one of the reasons why, because
right.
of Wright and Gilmore, both very similar.
And the drummer, the
Nick
drummer
Mace is
played per
very, he
he
knows what
played
he
perfect. Yeah, he wasn't
very
Bruford, he wasn't
no.
Palmer. It wouldn't work. Gilmore was the the man who soloed, the way, the tone he got, the solos. He was the musician that really stood out as like, say, a Keith Emerson. I would say Gilmore would be
Yeah,
the one in Pink Floyd.
you guys know this. There's a famous scene they performed live at Pompeii in the 70s, and you see a Gilmore with a Strat shirtless. Everyone's shirtless because it's hot. I've been to Pompeii, it's hot. So it makes sense. And you see Waters ding 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 ding. They're playing echoes, and you see
Yeah,
like Gilmore ripping that sound. It's like whoa, and you see like right shirtless too. Everyone's shirtless, but he's like
yeah,
playing, just what the song needs, but then letting Gilmore just rip. Like he's
yeah. Oh
definitely
yeah,
the person that like, and I feel like he was very like except with certain parts, but like he could have been like a Jimi Hendrix. He could have like even like soared more, but
yeah,
another
yeah.
brilliant musician.
Oh,
Gilmore's
Gilmore,
legendary.
Gilmore played to the song perfectly.
His
He
solo
played
on
to.
Money,
Oh God, he
oh,
perfectly
has
amazing
that
thing.
tone. I love that tone. It's so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Next on the list, we talked about him already, but I'm just going to talk about a style. Tony K, just powerful, simple, like we said, Hammond organ, uh, piano, strong textures rather than flashy synth. Classical jazz influence, robust textures, powerful driving rhythms, great melodic fills. He did not like Moog or Mellotron. That's
Mm.
why Kiss. That's why Yes didn't like him. Some of his albums that I love, Time in a Word, the Yes album, and this one that's I think it's called 52109. Joe, do you know that album? 52109.
Now you're tricking me. You're trying to mess me up. Was it 91025?
Yeah, that code doesn't work, by the
Wait, is
way.
it no way? Is it
Um,
90125? 90125?
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know
no,
why
no, it's
I kept saying 90125. One
I
901
memorized it. I kept saying it in my head. I was bored
90125.
the other day at the temple. 90125. I was punching it in the computer over and over and over, like friggin' Marcel, like autism or something. I was going over and over till I got it.
90125.
90125, and he got the perfect sound for Yes in the 80s. And
Mhm.
like I said, the irony, as we said, it was funny how he got kicked out, but he came back to make the money. They made more money on that album than they did on any
Yeah,
Yes album of all
yeah,
time. So
yeah.
it's funny how things work out for musicians. They think, I don't know what he did from 72 till 82 or
Obviously,
83.
obviously nothing because this album. I'm kidding, but this album became like the
He was,
most.
he was in a wedding band.
Yeah, he was playing keys like it was some
Yeah.
like corny wedding. But yeah, no, that's yeah, Tony Lemon's interesting. I don't know if you would agree with this. Maybe, but maybe it's kind of like a double-edged sword
Yeah.
because obviously we stayed in yes. I wonder what direction it would have gone in or
It wouldn't have worked. It would have been the
no
John
no
Rutsey. It's the John Rutsey syndrome, Pete Best syndrome. Peter Banks. They all had to go. They had to go because they yes evolved into something that was going to be spectacular. And Anderson and Squire and Bruford, they knew this, so they had to let him go. Both of those guys. So
it's crazy because the album 90 125 became like the biggest of their career. And it's funny, Tony K's keyboards, they're on there.
yeah,
But they're like they all sound like 80s songs. Like
they're like that. Damn,
yeah, yeah,
down,
yeah,
down, down,
yeah,
down,
yeah.
down.
Even like
Like
freaking Rayburn's guitar lines are so like compared to House,
Well, it's the in the way they dressed in content. It's the '80s, man. Like I lived
full
it. You know,
swing.
Joe lived it. It's that cheese
Well,
thing.
well, they didn't
Life was
think it.
that.
I don't think they thought it was cheesy back
No,
then.
no, no. It wasn't. You didn't say, "Oh, this is cheesy." This is the '80s. This is cool. This is what it sounded like to
Mhm.
you. 20 years later, you start to come up with the cheesiness. Like, oh man, what is this? You know what I mean? Like, this is like
Right.
cheesy.
I
All right,
think.
so can I
Yeah.
tell you what the weirdest part of the 80s was? Yeah, I can actually think of when things got weird, the very beginning that it got weird, and when it ended being weird was when Getty had a mullet. Figure out when Getty first cut his hair
Dude,
as a mullet and how long he had it and then stopped wearing the mullet. And that's when things were really weird in the
I-
80s.
wait, I will
Oh,
say, Joe,
and then
Chief, if I can make a comment on that. When I was growing up, I said this story so many times. One of my first videos is watching Getty on Tom Sawyer, and then I discovered the video for Free Will. Even though he looks kind of, I think now he looks kind of like, corny, but I thought he was the most coolest looking dude.
yeah, oh yeah,
And
yeah,
then I saw him in Subdivision's video, and I was horrified. I was like, who the hell is
yeah.
that?
He's got the real mullet going there. He has like jackets, like a suit jacket was a big
Dude,
thing to
and you
wear.
see, as a side, Alex Lifeson has this weird suit with a little bow tie. I'm like, dude, what is
Yeah,
going on?
and then we're talking about Getty's hairstyles for the years. Getty wore a ponytail, and he called it the Davy Crockett hat. Getty said this for a while when
Dude,
he had the
dude,
ponytail going.
cringe factor. Speaking of that mullet, the Time Stand Still is a beautiful song, but the video
Yeah.
and him in it is
The
so
the
aged
problem
so
Rush
badly.
had, the problem, and I hate to ever say problem Rush, and there's never a problem, but the problem they had with like labels probably is they're so good and they're the greatest band in the galaxy, but they couldn't pin them down to an image. They didn't need an image, but they tried and they tried too hard in
Right.
the '70s with the kimonos, and then all the crazy dressing, the way that they dressed, the '80s with early '80s wearing suits and jackets, Getty with the Davy Crockett haircut in the late '80s, early '90s. To finally they just Getty wears a t-shirt and jeans when he plays now.
Yeah,
So
that mullet is horrifying. It definitely did not age well. Like, and it's funny because I think they struck gold on on Moving Pictures in terms of even Alex in that Red Show. I thought he was cool.
they look cool. Neil's got the
And
little bow tie.
yeah, but then I just remember seeing Getty in that awful haircut. I'm like, what the heck? Like,
Yeah.
that's the same dude.
Well, the '80s. You gotta understand, style evolved in the
Well, the
'80s.
mullet was popular in the 80s.
But in the early '80s, it was still like a product of the '70s. So you still had long hair,
No, no, no,
bell
no.
bottoms,
No, that's
maybe.
what Joe's saying. You knew
Yeah,
that the 80s got weird. First of all, with the
yeah,
Miami
yeah.
Vice like jackets,
Oh
but also,
God, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, which you see that in Rush. But mullets, there was some awful trends. Like,
I had a mullet.
no,
I,
I'm sure you
I mean,
did
the only reason why I had a mullet,
because
I
of a
go to
girl.
get. No, oh God, no, I would never. My hair in a woman.
Wait
No,
a minute, I
never,
thought you were
never.
metal. Actually, dude, how did the metal community view the mullets?
Oh, well, we laughed at it. No, I had a mullet at a young age. I was in middle school, and I said to my mom, I want to grow my hair long, and my mom was like, "You're not growing your hair long." So she said, "Okay, I'll let
Oh,
you."
so the mullet's the compromise.
So my mother's like, "You're not gonna have long hair. No son of mine's gonna." I'm like, "I'm having long hair." You know what I mean? So I would hide the scissors in my house and everything, and then she's like, "All right, tell the barber leave the back long, but you got to trim the sides." So you'd have your ear, but no, your ears have to show, but the back, and then eventually, as the back grew, you got a mullet, and the
That makes
sides,
sense,
like, So that was I was middle school, but
dude.
never for a woman would I get a haircut, never.
Dude, every rocker had a mullet. Like I even thought that maybe John Anderson had some sort of mullet going on. Like I noticed. I don't know if I could be
Right.
wrong, but everyone had that hairstyle. Even rocker, every dad
Well,
rocker too.
well, Neil had really long hair and he braided it, which always looked cool.
Oh,
In the '80s, he
Neil.
had like he had like short hair on top, but a long braid in the back.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, you got to look at the back,
I,
like when he's playing, you can see this braid. It's on. It's probably on Exit Stage Left. I can't believe we're talking about Rush's hairstyle. I gotta love it.
yeah, right. We go from keys to like hair, like fashion. But yeah, dude. But the mullet, I agree with Joe. Like that. I could tell. Like that's. And it's funny. The mullet made a comeback recently. I don't know if you guys know this,
Oh,
but
you know what girls are doing now?
mullet.
The skullet.
Explain.
You hear this?
No, no, no. What does it look like?
They're shaving all this off.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah,
Women are doing this,
yeah,
and they're dyeing their hair, or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay, well, and that's conversation right there. Um, and I'm gonna throw a name at you guys that you probably never heard of. I heard of him, but I didn't think about him too much. John Evan, very important person in our prog world because we
Yeah,
love
I
his
know.
band. We love the band. Joe knows him.
Wait,
I
wait,
think he was the keyboardist in Jethro Tull.
You got it. Yep.
wait. That okay? And he plays on "Thick as a Brick."
He's on everything. Everything up from
Oh, what's
70
his
to
name?
80. John
Okay,
Evan.
I was saying Ian Anderson, but John Evan.
Yeah, from 70 to 80.
Oh, dude,
He's
yeah,
the
no, he
keyboard player.
he he definitely has to be mentioned. Just, dude,
Yeah.
I've been It's crazy. Cheech, I was telling Joe this. I I've been binge listening like a maniac to "Thick as a Brick." So I'm listening to the 40-minute song like it's nothing. Like sometimes twice a day, and um his keyboard playing on that album is so good. Like the whole song is I don't even know how to describe it, but dude, it's one of the most amazing pieces of music, and his keyboard playing is amazing.
Oh, it's incredible. Incredible.
Incredible player. Yeah, you can't forget Jethro Tull. And what wait, what's his name?
John Evan. I'll
John.
give a little description. Dynamic, theatrical, powerful Hammond work using Moog, electric piano, melodic style, blending folk classical with rock sensibility. He was a great performer, adding a rich layer with keys, not over the top player. So
No.
going back to Pink Floyd, what's his name? Rick Wright. Going back to him, he was similar to that. But his most famous intro is Locomotive Breath. That piano solo in the beginning.
Well, he's the best of that world. That and
Yeah.
my I would say that on
Thick as a brick I have on here as
well
well.
on
And
thick as the no
Aqualung.
on thick as the brick he gets proggy, but on
Yeah.
Aqualung, you hear that Tony Kaye's sound that maybe what he would have wanted with Yes, where it's
Yeah.
mostly the piano, and on him 43 is great. If you hear the piano, ding
Oh
ding ding
yes.
ding, like it's like that classic
Yeah.
like you
Yeah.
know, 1950s, like Jerry Lee Lewis, like hitting the piano like really hard.
Oh
But
yeah.
thick as a brick is when he upgrades, and you hear his progginess in full swing. And it's kind of funny because that album, I don't know if you guys know, it's supposed to be a satire of progressive rock.
Yeah. A
So when
joke.
Jethro Tull did it, it was sort of like a joke, but at the same time, they outclassed a lot of
Oh
because
yeah.
I mean, I've been obsessing over like thick
And
as a
that's
brick.
what year is that 74?
It's like
Is that our
73, 73, I
or
think.
seven? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
73. So that's almost at our cutoff line, which we said was 74.
Yeah. But you
You
hear
know.
that classic prog rock sound and it's amazing.
Yeah.
But he's the best of both worlds.
He is. He's the best of both worlds because he could do the rock, bluesy rock, folk, Renaissance rock, you want to call it, whatever Tull was. And then he could do the prog rock shit like nobody's business. Amazing. Um just gotta bring up my boy Carrie Minner from Gentle Giant. You still didn't get that Gentle Giant album for your birthday.
Sadly, no. So the rumor is that he's withholding it because of certain hate and envy.
Yeah.
I
Oh.
literally was gonna go in the office, the temple office, and say, "Hey, where's my Gentle Giant debut album that you promised?"
He goes, all right, let me unlock that drawer where the hats are.
And he pulls out like Gentle Giant and like
Big
Pink Floyd and
Grab
Toll and
generator,
Van Graf Generator. He
thick
has
as a brick.
he gives me egg. Oh no, not this one, not this one. Just come back.
Yeah, not the caravan. God, we're going to hell, Manny. So Carrie Minner is in Gentle Giant, classically trained multi-instrumentalist keyboard player, mastery over the keyboard. He was like an Emerson, this guy. If you listen to Gentle Giant, very similar to Emerson, Lake and Palmer with the keyboard work. Used organ, mellotron, Moog, another graduate from the Royal Academy of Music. And he was also a co-writer, so he co-wrote a lot of the songs. Um, he used classical elements and techniques. He used a lot of counterpoint, odd time signature, and he had so many great solos in the classical form, medieval sound. Um, and also some songs to check out if you're not familiar with Gentle Giant, which you should be in the prog world. Playing the Game from The Power and the Glory, Nothing at All from Gentle Giant. He actually, check this out. On Nothing at All, I gotta send this to you guys. He
Mhm.
quotes Franz Liszt in the middle section. Now,
Mhm.
how it doesn't get much proggier than that because
Yeah.
Franz Liszt is one of the most difficult pianists to play. I would always ask my piano instructor when I was in college. I think I told you that story, Manny, about my piano teacher. Uh, I would say she was like a jukebox. I'm like, can you play some Chopin? She'd rip out some Chopin. She won Grammys and stuff. Her name was Dorothy Jonas, beautiful woman, amazing pianist. And I'd be like, play me some Franz Liszt. Rip it out like it's nothing. I'd sit there like, oh my God, how do you do this? And she was a lot older than me. She was probably 70 and I was 18. And this is a fact because I did the math. She studied with Brahms when she was 3.
Mm.
This woman studied with fucking Brahms. And I took piano lessons from her. And then sick, like insane.
Mm.
Um, he's got an awesome thing called the Moog Fugue, where he plays a fugue on the Moog. Uh, great keyboard player. Gary Minner, check him out. Not a household name. People are not gonna. If you said that to somebody, they only a prog nerd would know. He was. Um. So Joe, I'm gonna throw the ball to you right now, and the guy who played on Relayer.
Is Swiss.
He is Swiss.
As far as no one
Patrick Moraz.
fact check.
Patrick
I
Moraz.
I I screwed up. I really I apologize to the Dutch, but I
Apologize
said the
to the
Dutch.
Dutch. He's not Dutch. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Sorry, Dutch.
I mean,
Dutch.
gosh, I thought he made a fantastic contribution to the Relayer album for Yes. Just that alone is what's stayed with me all these years. You know, it was interesting to know that I over the years he was the example of a keyboard player who would kind of get screwed over financially up and down the line. It's too bad, but I'm glad Rick Wakeman sat that one out because I think Patrick Moraz brought something very very special to the Yes sound. But
Yeah.
apparently, when they toured the Relayer album, he wasn't paid on a par with his other bandmates, or not paid much at all.
Well, I wonder if he was in the band or did they pay him as a session guy and just said, just take the pictures with us. We'll say you're in the band and then we'll work it out after the tour and see if you do another album.
Yeah, yeah, I
You know,
wonder.
that happens a lot to a lot of players who get screwed
Yeah.
out of money,
I
you know.
mean, it's really something about Rick Wakeman that he just did not believe in the music they were making, that it was too bombastic, I guess, for Relayer. It was a little over the top, which is saying something because I think of Rick Wakeman as being over the top. He's a very funny guy.
Yeah.
Tells really
Yeah,
bawdy, funny, like pub type jokes.
he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's funny in interviews. And actually, the album that broke him, and he to this day he says it sucks. Is Tales of Topographic Oceans. He thought it's their worst work, and he didn't like the direction that the band was heading into.
That's,
So I'm not sure if they had the songs for Relayer before he left or whatever. But that's what's interesting. I listened to Relayer. It hit me, but it hit me like a wall because it's different. And I told Cheech,
yeah.
it's actually, in my opinion, it's actually a challenging listen. I know that's hard,
Yeah.
shocking that it's different. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to
It's
describe.
almost more like fusion jazz rock, like a
It
Prague
it
fusion,
is.
you
It's
know.
strange. Like, I definitely I loved it though, but it's definitely like because I'm so used to and I agree with Joe with you, Joe, that it's actually a good thing Wakeman sat this out because obviously the music was heading in this direction, which is fascinating, especially on the gates and the gates of delirium.
Gates of Delirium says it all,
Yeah.
you know. And then,
And they hit alien levels on that album. I think that's my problem with it. In the best way it's the best compliment I can give the band, where I'm listening to the music and it's so otherworldly that I'm having a hard time. You really need to listen and just like, and that keyboard player, is what's his name, Cheech or Joe?
Patrick Moraz.
Patrick Morris. So definitely not Dutch. So all apologies. He's Swiss. Neutral country, neutral dude. But yeah, dude, his keys are insane. Like I'm surprised this dude's not a household name.
Well, he didn't have a successful career after that. I'm
That's
gonna
sad,
talk
yeah.
about it. It's really sad.
I wonder, I know it's a joke. I wonder if Yes like screwed him over. Like,
I think they did. Honestly, I think that's why he was never a household name. Like he's only known
no.
for Relayer.
And I have a theory. I think they were secretly hoping that Wakeman was gonna come back. Like
And he did. He came.
I
Here's the
think
funny thing. It's like a breakup with a girl or something, you know.
yeah,
You go out with a
yeah,
guy for six
yeah,
months and you just
yeah.
do it
So
to make the
wait,
jealous
Tony, right? Tony?
Tony.
And no, it was the keyboard player on Relay, Tony Moretz.
No,
Patrick.
Patrick.
Pat. So Patrick is like the rebound, like, and
He's
they're
a
like, all
rebound
right,
singer.
man, we'll just pay you a few pounds here.
Yeah,
Just shut
you
up and
get
play,
lost.
you know?
You
And
get
like,
lost. But after Relayer, which is the most proggiest Yes album,
yeah,
they go to go for the one, going for the one, where there's some really catchy songs on there, like Going
that,
for the One,
yeah,
Parallels.
yeah.
You know?
But beautiful
Awaken,
song, but beautiful
Awaken
songs
is
though.
proggy. Awaken is the proggiest song, but Parallels is like it was like a Rush tune. I love that song, you know.
Dude, there's a lot of beautiful tracks on that.
And to me, that almost leads up to Drama
Hmm.
because it has that, you know, obviously Tormado's different, but it's leading up more to Drama, and that was 77, I think, going
Yeah,
for the one.
yeah.
Great album.
People forget
Oh,
there's a very, very pretty song called To Be Over
oh, I did
on
it again,
Relayer.
Jack. Uh,
You know, it's still a long song. It's still 9 minutes, but it's very, very pretty and shows John Anderson at his best. But yeah, Patrick Moraz. Always liked him.
Relayers should be known more. It's not known. And like a lot of people don't talk. That's an album that's not talked about
I'm
frequently,
guilty of that.
unfortunately.
And that's gonna change. Right now, I'm like, I gotta listen to Relay more like binge listening. But I did love the Gates of Delirium, but it's
Oh
just
yeah,
it's different. Like it hits you like differently, and I would have to kind of like let it settle. It's kind
yeah,
of the same way. I remember when I was younger, I tried listening to Thick as a Brick by Jethro Tull. I didn't like
yeah,
it. I like more Aqualung, and like
yeah,
I didn't like it. But then now me getting older and listening to music, now I'm obsessed with it. So I think Relayer
yeah.
is a criminally underrated album, I think. Even though it did chart, it was in the charts. Like it was like it sold well. But yeah, that Pat.
Well, what I think should happen. I know I'm just gonna just a joke, Joe. I'm gonna bring up the Grammys next year at the Grammys. Jethro Tull is gonna play thick as a brick in its in
In
entirety.
its entirety. Like,
You know,
all right,
just to open the show up. You know, that would be awesome. You know,
you're gonna see some British announcer. All right, you lot, it's Jethro Tull.
and they go right into thick as a brick for like 20 minutes. You know,
Dude,
all right, what a show! Up next, Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar and his new song.
Yeah. That'd be in my brain. Okay, Patrick Moraz. Kind of a sad story, but I'm going to talk about the genius of this man. Usage of combination of classical dexterity. This is why he didn't. This is why Relayer sounds like it does. Jazz fusion improvisation. That's what he's known for. Jazz
That's a fact.
fusion.
Wait, is that a fact?
That's a fact.
That
That's his
makes
influence.
sense. That's why I was like when I first listened, I was like, whoa, what is this?
That's his influence. Jazz, fusion,
Oh,
improvisation.
I made this connection. It sounds like Miles Davis, beep, brew. Like,
Exactly, exactly.
and I love that album. So but that one
Yeah.
just that's and for me, yes, coming off. But I guess to be fair, I mean, I love Tales of Topographic Ocean, so I should not be talking.
He
But
was he almost too talented for Yes?
I mean, think about it. And when he
God, and
left,
and like that's a crazy thing to say, but
no,
like,
and when he left, I mean, it's sad he got effed over, but when he left, then they did Going for the One and Tormato,
and it went
which
back to
Going for the
Yes.
One is excellent. Tormato, we were kind of like halfway.
It's weird. Yeah.
It's weird. And then obviously drama darker, especially Wakeman coming back
Drama's
in.
amazing. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, maybe he was too talented.
Child Prodigy. Um, and let me see. The thing about him, he's known for his bass lines. So his left hand can play intricate, uh, bass parts while he's doing solos and complicated chords with his right hand. Um, he had solid rhythmic bass patterns going on. Great soloist, usage of Moog. So he had three things going on. This is why Relayer is a beast. He had a bass line mimicking like a Chris Squire thing going on in the left hand, jazz fusion chords in the right hand, and
Mm,
complicated Moog Taurus pedals with his feet.
dude,
I'm just breaking down his technique. So
dude, and think about without listening to Relayer, the sound that that would create. Like
that
that's
is,
it makes sense.
you know, that's the mystery solved.
And also
So
that he's not Dutch. That's really important.
no, sorry about that, guys.
You
Sometimes I
know
make
what we forget? We forget something very important about Patrick Moraz. He was in the Moody Blues for almost 13 years,
Wait a minute. Wait, pause. Wait, in the 60s?
from about 1978 to 1991.
Oh, so he went to the Moody Blues.
I had no idea. Joe, that's why you're on this show. And you come up with these amazing facts. I didn't even find that in my research.
Oh,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
out there, and of course, he wasn't really happy with the Moody Blues because, he was kind of like signed on to tour with them and record with them, but not to write the music.
You know how
And
bored
you know,
he must have been? He must have been bored out of his mind. It's like
yeah, he
me
said
going
that
to the
his biggest
temple.
contribution was he did do a song, and it was written with the drummer. So
That's kind of
he didn't get
sad.
any songwriting. He had to do his own solo albums to get songwriting credit.
Yeah, I'm gonna get
Yeah,
to his solo stuff.
yeah. He
Um,
complained. He complained about the Moody Blues kind of being too, structured and just I guess playing the same set every night, nothing new. They were just very confined to what they were doing, and
oh,
they fired him.
I take that back. I take it back. I did listen to Long Distance Voyager by the Moody Blues. I don't know what's wrong with me. I have on here Relayer, 1974, and then there's an album called Long Distance Voyager, 1981, the Moody Blues. Why did I brain fart on that? What's is the temple is destroying me on a Thursday. I apologize. Um, this is the best thing I think he's ever done next to Relayer, music for piano and drums with Bill Bruford, 1983. Um, and then he did a solo album, the story of 1976. But that album with Bill Bruford, I think I sent it to both of you guys. It's like classical fugues and Mozart kind of requiem mass stuff over insane prog drumming, and it went nowhere because it was like art rock at
Hmm.
its avant-garde art rock at its finest. So Patrick Morez was like one of these guys who was too talented for his own good. Like he couldn't find that right band. He should have joined like Weather Report or Spyro Gyra or something he's almost like a Chick Corea returned to forever.
Hmm.
He's that good. And that doesn't blend well in rock music. In the Moody Blues, he's probably just hitting chords, 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 take a little solo,
Yeah,
you
'cause
know.
the Moody Blues are completely different. Obviously, they're playing new stuff, but
That
um,
was a paycheck. That was a
yeah,
paycheck.
yeah.
pretty much. But anyway, all right. So Manny, I'm gonna throw this one at you.
Hmm.
Sticks. Got to bring up this man.
Yeah, Dennis DeYoung.
Yeah. How do you feel about
Oh,
his keyboard work?
oh, dude, Grand Illusion.
Yeah.
And he has to be the one playing all the keys, but it's kind of funny. Before that, if you hear before they get really proggy, but technically they were always proggy.
Yeah.
Some great piano lines, very like Elton John-esque a little
Yeah.
bit,
Yeah.
with a mix
Yeah.
of. But then like he really embraces the sounds of um progressive rock, and yeah, he just on on a Grand Illusion, it's magic. It's like so proggy.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Lead keyboardists like, and
Yeah.
you hear his lines. And when I went to go see them in Bridgeport, there was another guy with them. I don't know who this guy is. He was pretty good though. um but he was playing all of the Young's lines, and he
Yeah.
played Grand Illusion in its entirety.
Yeah.
And dude, keys, driven by keys.
Fooling yourself, angry young man.
Hmm.
That's just amazing. Grand Illusion and Fooling Yourself are my favorite. I mean, his style is different because he's not Keith Emerson. He's not Patrick Moraz. Melodic, soaring, high pitched synth lines, acting like a guitar player. You know, like the third guitar player, contrasting to Tommy Shaw and James Young. Created orchestral dramatic soundscapes. Like on Paradise Theater, he played piano a lot on the ballads. He used Moog and a Yamaha. He shaped the songs by not, wasn't doing a lot of giant solos, but he stood out. Had a melodic sensibility and a pop sensibility. Come Sail Away, that classical piano intro with Prague keys. So definitely a great
Hmm.
keyboard player that should definitely be mentioned in the Prague keyboards, and I mean one of the great singers. So imagine that you're a singer and a great keyboard player. That's
Dude,
that's
that
kind of
and that band had a great guitar player and a singer. Like that band was like
exactly Tommy
dude,
Shaw. Yeah,
they were just, two pistols just like slinging like.
that's amazing.
And obviously he made your favorite song, Mr. Bravado.
Oh God.
But I'm not gonna lie, hearing that live when I went to go see him at the Bridgeport Amphitheater, I'm not gonna lie, live though, like it is pretty good. I mean, obviously it's really we talked about 80s cringe.
I just grew up and when that was on. I had just gotten MTV,
And no,
and
and it's
wait,
guilty.
no,
No,
I didn't eat. Wait, what year is it? 83.
something like that, dude. And it's guilty of those cheesy 80s keys.
I
It's so
remember
bad.
watching it and going like, I don't like this. Too much time on my hands is a much better
Oh well,
song.
that's before. That's the last great Dennis DeYoung led album, and it's crazy because Mr. Roboto ruined his career, and
Yeah.
it's ruined Sticks. I mean, they're still going strong in terms
Well, I'll
of.
tell you something. Styx came out with an album in about the two. Let me see, early 2000s. Dude, it was
Oh, they
fucking
played some tracks from
amazing.
it. Yeah. But they
That
didn't reach the
album,
heights of like Pieces of Eight or whatever.
I don't think I might have been with Dennis DeYoung. Maybe he came back.
No,
No,
they never came
no.
back.
Okay.
As far as I know, as
Whoever.
far as I know, maybe I could be wrong.
Maybe it wasn't, but it has one song on it. I remember it was on the radio. That's how I learned about it. It was so good. Um, Here's one. Me and Joe talked about this guy. I like this guy. I don't think Joe. I don't know if you like him. So do you like Jeffrey Downs, Joe, or do you feel you think he's too 80s for you?
Yeah, I was checked out during the 80s. I was listening to a lot of U2.
Right, right.
I love you too. But wait, who's Jeffrey Downs?
Oh, from Asia and yes,
Oh,
and the
yeah.
and the Buggles, the Buggles. We can't forget the Buggles.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
video
no, for
killed
sure.
every.
No, for
you
sure.
know.
Dude, that video is so awful. But did you see that
The
video?
girls are hot.
Yeah, you see this weird dude just like standing there, like, dude, what?
Yeah.
And that's the great um
Jeffrey Dahmer, man.
no 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 who's the lead singer of the
Oh,
Bugs?
Trevor Horn.
The great Trevor Horn who sang for Yes, which I was like, whoa, like really?
Yeah.
Um
Such a weird, like, well, he was a top producer at that time as
yeah.
well. And he had a hit, or that song was a hit already. And why he joined Yes, and it worked. Drama is a masterpiece. I don't care. People can fight me on that, it's a masterpiece. Jeffrey Downs' keyboard work on that is amazing. I was going to break it down. Um, he's interesting. Got a couple fun facts about him. Uh, he's a keyboardist, a composer, flashy prog rock keyboards, lush symphonic layers, complex orchestrations. He's painting a picture with sound. He has a melodic pop sensibility, bridging it with technical prog and modern new wave and pop music. He has classical technique. He likes to double the melody lines, and he uses block chord styles inspired by jazz pianist George Shears. Songs, Video Killed a Radio Star is his most famous. The iconic piano-driven new wave song that launched MTV. Um, Tempest Fugit, High, I think I'm saying it right. Tempest Fugit High on Drama is amazing. He matches How with speed on that, plays really intricate lines. Heat of the moment, and I have to say, only time will tell.
Yeah.
His wall of sound blending synth solos, hooks, his arrangements. He's in the Guinness Book of Records for playing 28 keyboards on stage. He used a Prophet keyboard and a Hammond Moog. He beat out Keith Emerson for having the most keyboards on stage.
Look at that.
But when you think about him, when you hear "Only Time Will Tell,"
Yeah.
it, it's beautiful. I mean, the guy is really amazing. He's not a Keith Emerson, he's not a Patrick Morez, but he knows what he's doing. He knows how to play those songs. And Asia is just genius album. And we don't have to, we talked about that a lot in the last album. But any final thoughts on Jeffrey Downs? Manny, Joe?
The 80s are over with.
Not in my world, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, his work on Asia is really good, speaks for itself.
Yeah, yeah. I'm stuck in '80s, Joe.
Especially
I don't
only
know.
time will tell. But I will say it does have that 80s cheese though in the sound.
Well, it goes back to perspective. Like when you're, in sixth grade and you hear that, and you're 10, 11 years old,
No, no,
you're
no. It's
not
the coolest.
thinking
No, no.
yeah.
It's the
But
coolest thing.
30
But
years later,
yeah,
you're
like
thinking it does
yeah.
have compared to, like, you'll never say Emerson has a cheesy sound. That the
Mhm.
cheesy does not go with Keith Emerson or Wakeman. It's always classic and amazing. But that definitely is cheesy.
Now you're going to
Here's
make me
a,
listen to all of Love Beach by ELP. I made it
well,
through two songs, and it
not a
was
good
not. I'm
album.
like, oh, Keith Emerson had nothing to do with these songs.
I know that
Oh,
was
wait, is that the album with the awful like cover?
yeah
Dude, that album
that
sucks.
that was a contractual thing that they just had to get an album out. They should have did another live album or something, but
Yeah.
they were burnt. That was what, 78, Joe?
Love
That
Beach.
album. Yeah.
I'll look it up for you. But I was just like blown away because the 80s. I mean, I think of the worst song of the 80s that actually got significant airplay was "We Built This City" with by Jefferson Airplane.
No, but
And
Love Beach.
I listened
Wait,
to Love Beach, and I'm like, oh my god, they must have been listening to, Jefferson Starship.
Yeah, yeah, it
yeah,
sucks. That it should also that album cover is one of the worst album covers. Like it's so cheap. They look so cheesy in
It
it.
is.
Like they look
yeah.
like a
Wow,
bad soft rock album, like band or something.
They were,
that's a
I
'70s
mean,
album,
it's 78. Came out in 78.
November 1978.
Yeah, I had it. I actually, it grew on me, but the thing is, at that point, you got to understand. Look at the work they did up into 1978. The genius of Emerson, Lake and Palmer. They were
Yeah,
dried.
but
They were
dude,
done.
I'm gonna
They
throw
were
an Occam's razor at your reasoning, but dude, man,
rush. You're gonna
it's better to burn out, than
right.
yeah, they just yeah, because
I
at that
mean,
they
well,
sucked.
the thing is, like, those prog guys had it the worst, man.
Yeah, it's true.
ELP, yes, Genesis. They had to do prog albums that were conceptual, 9-minute songs, odd meter, great vocals, then go on tour and perform it. Then maybe get 6 weeks off, go back in the studio, do it again, go on tour. From 1970 to 1978, without really taking a break. Yes, took a break. They each did a solo album like in around 75,
Mm,
I think.
mhm.
But Emerson, Lake and Palmer just burnt out like a star. They just burnt out, and I mean, then they try to come back in the 80s, and Carl Palmer probably said, "No, I'm in Asia. I'm doing really good." And then they did an album in the 90s that wasn't bad. And I could have saw that friggin' tour, but I didn't go.
Yeah, but that album cover is the worst album cover ever. Like,
Yeah,
talk about dated.
I know.
These dude looks like they just posed up by like some palm tree at their house or something. It's so cheap.
They
The
should have
art,
just did like, what they should have did? A
they should
greatest
just
hits.
dude, they had the money. Just hire hypnosis to make your album like
But they should have did a greatest hits, you know?
a live
Throw
album.
some
Maybe would
live,
be
a
better.
live album.
Maybe,
And
maybe play the songs live.
you
Maybe
know what Cream did with Wheels of Fire when they ended their
they
career?
did, yeah,
That's
half.
what they should have did. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
they'll
yeah,
be.
yeah.
I would love to ask, Carl Palmer, the only remaining member. Actually, I'm friends with him on Facebook. I should ask him why I
Send him a
love these.
message. Why that awful album cover? And why didn't you release a live album?
What happened? You know? Um, so here's a guy that really needs to be talked about because I mean, I put him up with Patrick Moraz,
Hmm.
Eddie Jobson, man. We know him from UK. UK is that brilliant band from the 1978, when Prague is already gone.
Yeah.
And it has our boy John Wetton and Bruford in there, and the great Alan Holdsworth and Eddie Jobson on keys. So he's a classical technical master of the analog and digital sound. This guy took all the analog stuff, and then by the time the 80s came around, he was rocking digital like nobody's business with Zappa, because he played with Zappa. He bridged the gap between symphonic rock and modern electronic textures. He was a master of layering and uh, layering synthesizers. He was the first to use a Yamaha CS80 keyboard in the late 70s. Now, that's all the stuff you hear, like bands like Squeeze, The Cars. They were using that stuff.
Hmm.
But this guy was doing it like Keith Emerson. Um, his approach was jazz chromatic approach. He had an aggressive, fast soloing using patterns to create a memorable solo. His list of bands is crazy. I don't know if you ever got into Roxy Music, but they were a very interesting band. He played with Roxy Music from 73 to 76.
Mm-hmm.
Zappa, he played with them in 76 and 77. UK in 77, 78. A little band called Jethro Tull.
Mm-hmm.
1980 to 81. He was a special guest on the album called A. Are you familiar with that album by Tull? It's called A, like the letter.
No.
No.
He was on that
Wow.
album.
And I go
Yeah.
back to Minstrel in the Gallery and then Heavy Horses and Songs from the Wood.
Yeah.
Uh, wow, that must have been late because, of course, the funny Grammy thing about Jethro Tull was when they won the first heavy metal award that was ever
Yeah.
given was for Crest of a Knave. And
Yeah.
people were in an outrage because they thought Metallica should have gotten the award.
And I agree, Metallica should have got it. And Justice for All was the big album of that year. And nobody was even talking about Jethro Tull. In the 80s, but by the time metal came out, like
Yeah,
when
but kid, you know what the
Metallica.
problem with that argument is? Today's Grammys are voted by the popular So it's kind of like
That that always baffled me because Injustice for All was like the biggest album.
no, but
I
I'm
don't
saying, but the
understand it.
Grammys, the ones that win are the biggest albums. So what about like if someone wins, people are upset, but you know,
But like I don't even remember Tull having an album that year. It was not played on MTV,
hmm.
wasn't played on the radio, and that's why everybody got mad. Because one was the first Metallica video that exploded, and then when they and Metallica played the Grammys that year, it goes to show you how the Grammys have changed. Metallica played one at the Grammys in 1990. I
Wait,
watched that.
and how is that Tall album? Is it good? I don't listen to 80s Tall,
They
but
have a song called I think "Kissing Willie" on it. It's tall but 85. I just made a word up like Manny.
that one that won the 80s I'm sorry, 80s the metal category.
Yeah, but there's a lot of controversial thought behind that. That they didn't want any metal band to win a Grammy. There was no metal band that won a Grammy yet.
Wait, but they had the category metal category?
Rock, hard rock. I'm pretty sure it's hard rock. I don't think they called it heavy metal yet.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense. You know, Jethro
I
Tull was
I don't
nominated for the award but did not
don't
attend
ask
the
check me.
ceremony.
I mean, don't ask check me on it, but I don't think they had a metal category yet. I don't think Motley Crue won Grammys or anything. Or maybe they did, but it was always rock or hard rock. Maiden never won a Grammy, Rush never won a Grammy. But when Metallica, we were even like, why is Metallica even on here? Like, this is really strange. But yeah, that's a good Grammy story. That's a classic one. So you might have seen him play with Zappa because he played with him in 1978. Um, a lot live in New York. Studio 10 in 1977. Shut Up and Play Your Guitar. That's a famous Zappa album. Roxy Music, an album called Standard, 1973. Country Life, 1974. Siren, 1975. Famous songs, that song Peaches and Regala, um, and Black Page, which is according to Steve Vai, it's the most complicated piece of music ever
Yeah,
written, ever written. UK, the first album me and Manny worship.
Hmm.
Their second album, Danger Money, which is not, known. In the Dead of Night and Nothing to Lose, Alaska are some great songs from UK. So please check out Eddie Jobson. He needs to be known. If you don't know who he is, if you want to learn about prog keyboard players, he's one of the best, and he's played with so many people. Um, so I got two left, I think. Then we could pick our picks. Okay. I gotta laugh at this one, Manny. You, you Banton. Um, he's in somebody's favorite band at the temple, Vandergraaf Generator, and he's a great. My freaking phone keeps making noise. Okay. He's a great keyboard player, classically trained organist, known for his intense, haunting playing style, technical genius, his heavy Hammond organ sound, great mellotron, jazz influence, lead solos, experimental. Now, Van de Graaff Generator was known for their keyboards. Um, we talked about the guitar player last week for his percussive technique. Songs that he was on are The Lighthouse Keepers, 1970, Darkness, 1970, and Sleepwalkers, 1975. Albums, Pawn Hearts, 1971, Gold Bluff, 1975, Still Life, 1976. So check out Vandergraaf Generator. Check out you Banton. I mean, Vandergraaf Generator is really as prog as it can get as far as insane prog next to Gentle Giant. Me and Manny always talk about them. So,
Yeah,
any
they're
questions?
definitely for the prog rock nerds and a certain somebody.
Yeah.
Worships
Yeah.
his man.
Oh, he loves them. You got to get the key to get to that drawer. You get all, he has all the albums in there. We got to somehow
I'm
steal
gonna
it.
I'm gonna ask his first thing. Where's my Van Der Graaf generator
I need
album?
I need a new name badge. Oh, come with me.
And literally, on my like on my name badge, I'm gonna write Van Der Graaf generator. Like,
Oh, you'll be hated and loved at the same time. Okay. So last on my list, some guy from Canada who likes baseball. I don't know.
nobody, nobody. Glee.
Yeah, this
Is the
guy,
name right with
Glee.
Glee?
He goes to these baseball games with his grandkid. He's going on tour this summer, doing like 80
Yeah,
dates.
I heard he was a bass player who like got snobbed for a Grammy, maybe. Rush. Oh, Rush.
They should have got Grammys,
Yo, they
man.
should. How come they didn't win a? Dude, they
Well,
should.
they did,
Dude, hold
screw
on.
the.
Wait. Pause. They should have won the Grammy. Not the.
You know what? Screw the Grammys because they won every Juno award known to man. Now the Juno awards are much better than the Grammys. They're the Canadian
I
Grammys.
heard about that. Yeah.
So Rush got there
Dude,
in their
I will
home.
say the Grammys historically have always got like usually they get it wrong. Like because the Grammys are just a weird like I don't even know how to describe them. Like they used to be a big deal. Now they're trying to
I'll tell
forge
you
up.
when they were a big deal in the 70s when I was a kid. And Joe would remember. You'd see like Frank Sinatra, the
It,
super talents, Tony Orlando, Sonny and Cher. These are the people that would win the Grammys. The
no,
Eagles,
I just think the philosophy behind the Grammy when I was naive and you know in Plato's proverbial cave. I thought the Grammys had high taste of music, so I would see their picks and listen to their picks. But then the more I realized, wait a minute, I think,
wait. What are you saying? They don't? I just went out and got Sabrina Carpenter's new album.
oh yeah, you.
And this girl named Eyelash. Her name is Eyelash. I just bought that album today.
Hey kids, I got the new eyelash off.
I just bought that album today and I love it because because they played the Grammys.
Hey kid,
That's how it works.
yo,
No,
you're
I'm
like.
just
Yo, you on your boombox, you put it into Rita Carpenter's new album. Guys, I'm listening to Espresso here.
let's put it to you this way. I bought the Sabrina Carpenter album, not for the music. Anyway.
Have you seen the album cover?
No.
I'm gonna share it with you later. Their new
Is
album.
it her picture?
Oh, dude, it's like adult only picture.
Oh, then I gotta buy that
It's
album.
controversial, yeah, but
She is very pretty. And the other one too, Anton LaVey's daughter,
uh,
is very pretty too. I think
uh,
she's pretty.
T Swift at the Swifties color.
She didn't win. No, she didn't. She wasn't a big name.
You know what's funny? I'm not sure if she got nominated, but
I don't think she did an album.
no, she did.
She did do an album,
Yeah, Confessions of a Showgirl,
and
which is
she
like,
didn't.
which is like a concept album.
Her and Vandergraaf Generator should do something next year. They should tour together. How how did she not win? I mean, how did
That is
she not
weird.
win? The
Yeah, that is
biggest
weird.
biggest name in music.
Yeah.
Oh, forget Geddy Lee right now. Joe, talk about Renaissance's keyboard player.
Yes, their keyboard player's name was John Tout. He was in part of the classic lineup from 1970 to 1980, and very, very classical sound. Just a very, very talented player. And but what's interesting about him is that in his discography, I don't know how they got together, but John Tout played on two songs of John Lennon's Imagine album, and he played the piano on the song "How Do You Sleep," which is very famous because it was
Wait, so
kind of
this is the guy in Renaissance.
yes. In fact, he was
Hold
in
on.
Renaissance at the time that he recorded for John Lennon in the studio.
Have you guys seen the clips and movies when you see John Lennon recording Imagine, famous
Yeah.
when he's with George Harrison, whatever, and I see a guy on the piano player, that's him.
Well, this is what's interesting is that John Lennon had probably the very best session piano player ever in Nicky Hopkins. Nicky Hopkins is on that song "How Do You Sleep," but he plays an electric Wurlitzer piano, and John Tout from Renaissance plays a traditional piano. So
And
he had
who's the drummer on those sessions?
Alan White from Yes was the
Of course.
drummer.
Yeah,
on the
it
Imagine
all
session.
it all
Wait,
fits
wait, wait, wait,
together.
wait, wait, which drummer?
Alan White from Yes is on Imagine, so this all fits together. This
Wait,
is crazy.
Alan White played on which albums?
Imagine.
No, 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 I know that, but you
Oh,
said
Alan White on the album on the album behind you. Teals for Tapper
yo, what
Roses.
a
Yeah.
small. So
So
John
that
Lennon had the best, like Joe said, the best session players.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's a,
well, Nicky Hopkins, George Harrison playing slide guitar,
yeah.
Alan White on drums, and of course, I know him very well. Klaus Vorman played bass.
Yep. Yeah,
Uh,
Klaus Vorman is like
He's amazing. Oh my
legendary bass player.
God.
He's like the Tony K of like be like he's so legendary.
And he did the artwork on the White Album, I think. He did artwork for the Beatles on one of their albums. Oh,
uh, I would. I'll go back to Revolver and see if he did Revolver.
No, he didn't do
Revol
a
White
Revol
revolver.
Album was a White Album, Cheech.
wait, no, duh.
Wait,
I don't know.
wait, wait, wait. Was it the white? Wait, hold on, pause, pause. Was it really the White Album?
I'm sorry, Joe.
Like you
My
say, Joe.
brain. Did I
Joe,
say White Album?
I should be
I,
shot. But dude, the White Album was like not even a great album
I
cover.
know,
I'm
no,
kidding.
no. I meant to say Revolver.
He
Because
wait, Borman
Revolver
made
is wait,
Revolver.
is Revolver white too? Yes,
Wait,
right.
wait,
It
wait,
was a
wait.
what?
Borman made Revolver, the collage.
Look it up. I'm pretty sure he did.
I think he went to art school or art.
I could be wrong, but I think he did Revolver. I
I
could
think he
be.
did.
I should be shot for not knowing that, like you say.
Maybe I should go. Maybe I should go back to Thursdays off.
Oh, he did design the cover. And for which you also kind of ironic here and funny, he won a Grammy Award for that album cover.
Wow, the irony in this
The one
show.
time they got it right.
The
And
Grammys
and
finally
the
got it
Grammy
right.
goes to the Beatles' White Album
Wow.
over
But you,
Cream.
but you know what's crazy? Do they even have an artwork?
Dude,
This year, like when you do downloads, does the artist get credit on a download? You know, is there art? Is there a
the
picture?
album artwork?
Yeah, they do.
Oh,
So there's not even like there's no artist that gets credit gets a Grammy.
you don't know. As far as I know. I mean, as far as I know, that changed. No, kids don't care about artwork anymore.
Or producers or engineers.
Oh,
Like engineers get Grammys. Back in the day, engineers would win best engineer.
mhm.
You know, crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he
Did I said White Album? I Now wait, Revolver has a white background.
dude, you said White Album. I'm like, all right, dude. Like if that
Wait,
was
no.
really Borman, that is so lame. Because
But the Revolver has a white background, right? Because I'm trying to think.
it's just white with the
Right, so
Beatles.
there's white in there. So okay, the dementia's slowly kicking in. Okay, all right, but I got some of this right. Okay.
Mhm.
Anyway, great bass player though, talented man,
Oh, you get in
talented.
big trouble. Big trouble.
There you go.
Can't see it right.
Oh, love that.
Anyway,
Yeah.
That's a great album.
it's like yeah, Klaus. But anyway, yeah, John Tout. He was in
Yeah,
Renaissance at that time, and John Lennon brought him on. Found that very
amazing.
interesting. I was trying to find a way by using John Tout that I could mention the lovely Annie Haslam. So,
Oh yeah,
if you want to see examples or listen to examples of John Tout's work, Carpet of the Sun, Ashes Are Burning, Prologue,
yeah,
Scheherazade. There's
yeah,
some really great stuff. He plays very sweet piano. Really
yeah.
nice stuff.
Really, really talented band.
Yeah.
And my boy, Andy Powell, Ashes and Burning.
Yes.
And,
Wishbone Ash.
yeah, Torn, Florida. You know who else is playing Florida? What's his name?
Van Graff Generator.
No, uh, Steve Hackett is playing Florida.
Oh yeah,
He's
that's
doing a
cool.
bunch of
He
dates.
he was he was touring. I remember. He came here. Now I don't remember where it was. A long time ago, and I was like, "Ooh,
Yeah,
Steve Hackett."
yeah.
But I think there were only like three people in line. No, I'm kidding. But I would have
No, he
loved to see
probably
him.
He could probably fill
Oh yeah, yeah.
a venue.
Genesis fans. I mean,
Yeah, oh, definitely. Um, so the last one, thanks, Joe, for that was a great like twist on everything. Everything goes back to Bacon, like they say that Kevin Bacon.
6 degrees of separation.
Exactly. So Grammys and the Beatles, all these great players. So the guy from Canada who likes baseball and brings his grandkid and is going to tour a lot this summer. The great Geddy Lee or Glee. Atmospheric layers, percussive sequences, uses chords to fill in the space. Um, this is a good quote that somebody said. The
mm,
synth was the fourth member of Rush, especially like in the 80s.
I think it's the fourth member that everybody, even if you're not a Rush fan, just from Tom Sawyer.
Yeah.
That's and that it's crazy because you and I know Joe, we're not gonna torture Joe right now, just we'll just keep it brief. But um uh um moving pictures, and you just hear the magic of him perfecting. It's like keyboard icing, like cake icing,
I
it's just
I I'm gonna get to
perfection.
that, and I have an opinion about that, and I'm gonna get to that
And
song.
obviously my favorite, Grace Under Pressure, but that's my opinion. But
Oh
my
yeah, yeah,
favorite,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
even though not for everybody, but
Oh no,
my
I got a list. I got a list of songs. But atmospheric, layering. He used Moog pedals. You can hear it on Spirit of the Radio and Free Will. In the 70s, he used the Mini Moog, the Oberheimer synth. In the 80s, the digital era, he used Roland keys and Yamaha. Now, I'm going to go backwards. Countdown from Signals. You can hear it. You can hear the keyboards.
Mhm.
Subdivisions.
It,
Probably
dude,
Getty's. What?
it starts the song.
But it's probably Getty's best solo
Yes.
ever,
Yeah.
ever. It's like a Keith
Dude,
Emerson
no, this is a
solo.
joke. It's a joke. It is only solo. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, yeah, you're right.
Well, I mean, when you think of his other solos, even in Xanadu and Circumstances, which is on my list, he rips that solo. It's like, you know, it's like a Keith Emerson
Mhm.
solo. Xanadu, it's minimal, bow, bow, but it's
Oh
it's
no, but
beautiful.
it's
It, it,
proggy. Yeah.
it's proggy.
That's one of the best,
My
greatest prog rock songs.
my second favorite keyboard solo is Circumstances off of Hemispheres. That is beautiful. It's like a melody in itself. And the number one, probably over anything Keith Emerson has done or Rick Wakeman, the most popular keyboard solo is Tom Sawyer. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
And no, just
Everybody and their
no.
mother knows Tom Sawyer. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. That's probably one of the most, and honestly, good ending to the progressive rock keys, because Tom Sawyer, now everybody knows that.
yeah.
A lot of people think of the 80s when they hear it, but that just goes to show you how Rush on their biggest album
Yeah.
took the keys to its conclusion.
And then it's doubled by the rest of the band, which is so cool. Geddy plays it under the guitar solo. Then Alex comes back in, like, and then it leads into the
Yeah.
greatest drum fills in the world. We don't have to go there. We all know. Um, but if you said to somebody who doesn't know much about Prague or whatever, you ever hear Barbarian solo, keyboard solo, or Tom Sawyer? Sorry, Keith.
Dude, dude,
Everyone is gonna
you
gonna
know what?
know.
You know which one might maybe is Roundabout, because everybody knows Roundabout.
I
I
think
don't know if
Tom
you would agree with
Sawyer,
that, but I think Tom Sawyer beats it. Yeah,
eh, and the beauty of it, it's so minimalistic. It's and it's six notes. Anybody can play it. But if you get the notes down and the dexterity, me playing it on a kid's piano the other day, it's a lot harder to play on bass than keyboards, believe me. But it's genius, descending line going down, so.
I know I have a hot take. I think his for Rush, um, his keyboard player. I know you mentioned Randy Xanadu. I think it's better than Tom Sawyer. I know that's a hot take, because
Ooh,
that is more proggy in my opinion. And it's crazy. Get this. There was an opera. I sent you the video. I might reshare it with both of you guys. There was a trained classical opera singer listening to Rush for the first time, and she's critiquing Getty's voice on Xanadu. She's like watching the performance and she sees Getty playing the keys in the beginning, right? Holding it right, meanwhile strapped on with
yeah,
the bass, and she's so impressed that he's able to do this. And like, and I'm watching this like, you know what? That is amazing. And Xanadu is
yeah,
now, now, Tom Sawyer is more like a punch in the face with the keys, in my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah,
Xanadu is just like architecture. It's just like, dude,
yeah.
in my opinion. But obviously, you're right. People think Tom Sawyer keys.
But then you got to think of texture, the camera eye,
Oh yeah, which is underrated. That's dude.
and Witch Hunt, your song,
Oh,
your
I
song you
love.
grew up with.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, and well, I guess we'll leave it at that. So we don't talk to
Because
Joe, but
he could solo and then he can do the textures. Geddy
great,
Lee
great player.
wasn't a soloist like the guys we talked about, but he can do a little bit of both. And he's got to be mentioned as a keyboard player. Forget the bass, put the bass down, put the vocals down, and just focus on the keys. He's up there. I think is one of the greats. And and I think he would love to hear that because I don't think he thinks of himself as a great keyboard player. When you think of the in his mind, I think he even said that. Oh, I'm not like a Rick Wakeman, but you are Getty, you are God. And you're not in the system at the temple. I put your name in. I don't know. They gotta talk to somebody about that.
You put in like his jukebox downstairs. Like you put in a quarter. You put it, ooh, who's messing with my jukebox?
Yeah, why is he going? Oh, he's getting rolls of quarters at the cash. Yeah,
Well, now you know.
they have a thing called iTunes, dude. All right. Anyway, I don't want to get silly. I know we're gonna. Anyway, let's pick our top one, two, three, four, five, 11, whatever
Yeah,
keyboard.
whatever. Yeah, whatever. Like, yeah,
Yeah, there's no pressure.
yeah.
So, you want to go first, Manny, or
Yeah, I'll be quick because otherwise we'll be here for hours. I got a top. I think I'll do top today. Quick. Um, Rick Wakeman, but just because of, how much the music means to me, especially emotionally. Like he's really good.
yeah, yeah,
Um, actually, too, Getty. I actually think Getty is, for me,
yeah,
my book. I mean, I think it's so cool. Bass, and I love that I see it. Such a snapshot. Strapped of Rick
yeah.
playing the keys, and I see him do something with his feet, and I'm like, what is he doing? Like, what the heck? And then
He's
and then
doing
he's
four things at once: singing, Moog
no,
pedals,
and
keyboards, and bass.
as I think it was the drummer from Rage Against the Machine, also he could use his nose to move the mic as well. Like this dude, he made that joke, but
And no, he's doing five things. He's a front man, and he's a front man.
dude, like this dude's a genius. But anyway, talk about keys, right?
Yeah,
Um, and my personal favorite, Richard Wright, as well. So quick, and I think
really. I
I
like that. I
spoke about
like that.
honorable
I like-
mentions to what's the guy in Jethro Tull on Thick as a Brick?
Uh,
Tony.
Ev- John Evans, of
Shout out to John Evans. He has quickly bumped up to the top of my list. Shout out to Keith Emerson.
course. Yeah,
But I think top for me. And shout out now, this was hard. Tony Banks is my soul pick. Like on the hill I die for is Tony Banks. But Rick Wakeman, I don't know, something about him. And as you can
yeah.
see, I'm in topographic oceans.
You're in that land.
Dude, I can't get out of here, man. Wes, all no disrespect to the Swiss, but
Sorry,
we'll, we'll
I
stay in
fumbled the
England.
ball. Yeah, Joe was your top.
Well, number one, I went with Rick Wakeman. Number
That's
one has to be to go with the number one band, yes.
I
And
like it.
number two is Tony Banks from Genesis. Number three, Keith Emerson, of course.
Hmm.
Number four, Richard Wright from Pink Floyd. Number five, I actually put Patrick Moraz. He made that indelible impression. And number six, John Tout of Renaissance.
That's a great list. I like that.
Mhm.
Some of the classics. Yeah,
Yeah.
the main four.
Um,
Fun.
We
I
got and Joe and I share a Rick Wakeman top one. And even though and I like his pick for Renaissance, right? It's in there. Same for me. Like
yeah,
it's so hard to pick, but if I'm being honestly speaking, I think yes on Rick Wakeman. Like enough
yeah,
said. Yes.
I like it. I like it. Me number five, Jeffrey Downs. Number four, Don't Hate Me, Manny, Tony Banks.
Nah, dude, it's hard.
Number three, Glee, Mr. Geddy Lee. Number two, Rick Wakeman. In my opinion, number one, greatest keyboard player ever is Keith Emerson in my world.
Mm,
Like, I mean, technically, 'cause I go for technical insanity, non-human, like someone who's not a human being
mm,
doing
mm.
this. And that's Rick, and that's well, Rick Wakeman too, but Keith Emerson. So uh so that's our top keyboards of Prague. Thank you, Silky Joe, for being on the show as always. And you brought some great insight and stories and stuff to the table. You
Thank you.
know, really, really enjoyed it. And you know, maybe next year at the Grammys they'll do like a Moog Fest or something. I don't know.
Yo, cut it out, Dave.
We'll do you know, Rick Wakeman will play, you know, one of his solo albums to open the show.
Dude,
Or Rush will open the show with
and,
Anika and they'll do
and the best
2112.
and the best new artist category.
Wait,
Rush featuring Anika Niles.
imagine that they win a Grammy. That would be awesome. And they played the Grammys. That would be friggin'
Yo,
amazing.
that'll be cool. Like as a shout out, right? Like, you know.
Yeah, if Rush has a new album this year, it'll be ineligible for 27. God, like
Yeah.
2027 is scary. But that's amazing, you know. But anyway, guys, amazing show. So much information. The next one I have, and I know Joe, you'll be into it. Best Prague bass player. We all know is Sid Vicious, by the way. He's number one, and that'll be our
Dude,
next
can you pause there? Imagine Sid Vicious
in a
auditioning for
five.
like Yes, and and you see like I don't know like Anderson be like, all right, mate, what can you play? Oh, I can't play me bass, but like
Or Chris Squire and the Pistols. Wait, what would that sound like? Buddies!
what is?
Insane. You
Well,
know.
It's like
two of my favorite, the Prague bassists play the Rickenbacker. So
I'm
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah.
telling you, there's something about the Rick, and it's crazy because I have a hot take on, and shit, you can disagree with this, but for I get why the Rick, but for the Rick, um, for it to be like the of all the bases, like
Yeah.
you choose the Rick, and for me, it becomes now a symbol of the prog rock player, in my opinion, to the point where Getty plays the Rick for a long time, you
Well,
know?
Getty, there's a sequence of why these guys played the Rick, in my opinion. I was never a Rick guy. I love the tone and I love the
Oh,
players. I was
can I
always
say
a
one more
Fender.
thing that just popped in my
Yeah,
head? Someone
yeah.
told me that Rick guitars, for example, too, are not that great.
They're not.
Yeah,
I
that's what
bought
they
one.
said. And someone told me about the Ricks in general. Like they are kind of someone. I forgot where I got this idea. I think it was a video. They were reviewing a Rick, and they were
Yeah.
saying, "Be careful if you buy this though, because it's like kind of like an instrument that's very outdated."
No, not that it's outdated. I have a couple of reasons why I don't like playing a Rick. I worship the sound of the Rick. And you can get a Rick tone on a Fender P bass, like what I own. You could get really close to a Rick tone if you wanted to. The problem with the Rick, it's this big long neck. It has two truss rods in it. And in one bass, there's one truss rod. There's two in the Rick. There's two out. There's two jacks for two outputs. when I was growing up, I didn't not only play heavy metal, and rock. I studied jazz, I studied Latin, I studied reggae. You cannot. I studied funk. You can't play that stuff on a Rick unless you're Rick James, no pun intended, because he used a Rick. But but you can't play funk on a Rick. You can't slap on a Rick, and it has this bulky metal thing that covers the pick guard, and you could take it off. So I bought a Rick. I bought a 1978 red Rick, the same one that I saw Cliff Burton had at Giuliano's Guitar. I think I told the story before. And at this time, I was in 11th grade, and Giuliano's knew me because I bought a lot of stuff from him. Giuliano's was an amazing old school guitar shop in White Plains. He was the guitar luthier. He did. I remember going in there one time. He's like, "Look at this guitar, come in the back." It was Pete Townshend's guitar he was working on. That's how good this guy was. And I was like, "Could I touch it?" I remember touching it. He did Ace Frehley's guitar. He did Dave Murray's guitar. So he said to me, "You like that, Rick?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You're not gonna like playing it." And I played it, and I was naive, and I said, "Why?" And he said, "Because you're a P bass guy. You own two P basses. That's all you play. That's all you talk about is this guy Steve Harris and James Jamerson. You're gonna hate the Rick." I bought it for $600. 2 days later, I bring it back. He's laughing at me. He's like, "I'll buy it back from you," but of course, I lost money in the deal. But he's like, "I told you, stick to the P bass," and I always did. I was always a P bass guy only. So that's just my Rick story.
Mm.
But going back to Manny, why these guys played a Rick? Because Paul McCartney played a Rick on Sergeant Pepper,
And that,
and
and
I
that's
think,
and that's the connection. But when I
yeah,
say, but it's funny because the instrument itself, like today, right? It's like an instrument. I know you may disagree with this. When I say it's outdated, it's like from another world. Like today, it doesn't make like especially live carrying this, and that's why I think that's why Getty in the '80s started getting more simpler, more lighter.
or he had more equipment around him. You can knock down his keys with a Rick.
Yeah, it's
They're
just like you
bulky.
said, it's
They're heavy. They're
bulky.
heavy. Yeah,
That's a great point you made. McCartney had that, and he actually in the '60s, on Sergeant Pepper, he spray painted it because he was inspired by, I think it was Jimmy Page because he paint sprayed his guitar
yeah,
in like
yeah.
these
The yard,
psychedelic
and
colors.
with the Yardbirds, he did. Right, Joe was a Stratocaster. Was he a tel? He played a Telly, I think.
I think it was like a
I think it was
talent.
Kelly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Telly. Yeah, Telly.
So I like that. Yeah, you're right.
But now you got me thinking, oh my God, so this is the thing about the Rick. When you plug a Rick into your amp, you get this Rick and you're like, I'm gonna sound like fucking Chris Squire, right? I'm gonna sound like Geddy Lee. You plug it in, it does not sound like that. Your amp has to be EQ'd a certain way. Now, when you're a 16-year-old kid who doesn't really know shit about EQing, if I knew how to EQ my amp or whatever, maybe I would have got that Squire sound, or now they have pedals that could do that. And when you think of McCartney's tone on Sergeant Pepper and Wings, because I love his tone, opposed to Chris Squire, it's two different basses. They
Yeah.
don't sound like Rick. It doesn't sound like a Rick when McCartney plays it. It
No,
sounds like
not at all.
but that's the beauty of the Rick. You could get that real, almost John Paul Jones dead note. I love McCartney's sound in Wings when he
Yeah, it's
plays that Rick.
amazing.
It's warm, it's beautiful. And on Sergeant Pepper's, it's a little punchy,
Yeah.
you know, So anyway, nice points about the Rick, man. But Fender P basses, those are to me the best basses in the world. I own five of them, and I own them from the '70s, and that's the best bass for me because of James Jamerson from Motown. He's the one who put that on the map, you know. And John Wetton played it on Red, just to give some examples.
You see the photo Joe's
Uh,
holding? Yeah, that's the spray
a
painted
little
guitar.
guy, is this guy in
You
England
see
It's
plays his
Jimmy's
Jimmy's.
band.
picture on Joe?
What's that?
See
That's
Joe's?
Jimmy's Telecaster
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
with the
beautiful.
bow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And,
I
and
keep
that
it in the
I'm pretty
background.
sure that inspired McCartney to spray paint his Rick. But then afterwards he took it off and it's the same bass that you see him play live in
Yeah,
Wings.
yeah, yeah.
It's really
Wow.
cool.
Awesome. But all right, guys. So good, great episode. Nice long episode. Got a lot of information out there. Thank you, Silky Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
Start to think
Thank
about your
you.
start to think about your favorite Prague bass players, and then it'll be the next episode to fulfill the
It's
the,
obvious, dude.
the
It's a joke, but it's obvious. It's Chris Squire.
Oh, well, I don't know about that. I might have an arg we might have an argument
Imagine
there.
it's like who's a bass player? Who was the Squire on 901, whatever 901
9125.
that Tony Ray album, Tony Rayburn.
Yeah, Tony Rayburn and Trevor Kay. Yeah, I know those guys.
Oh
Oh
my
my
goodness,
God.
Trevor K is my favorite keyboard player.
He's so good. He's so handsome.
I have to
But
figure out if I'm going to show Les Claypool some love again.
Well, okay. Now things are getting exciting because
yeah,
Les Claypool has this great interview with and we'll end it here, I guess.
with
With Rick
Beato.
Beato saying
Yeah,
that for
seen it.
years, what is that Squire sound? Talk what you were saying, like a lot.
Yeah,
Even Getty was trying to get that Squire sound, and
yeah.
it was so elusive, even to the greatest bass players. How crazy is that?
That
Like,
You can't
that
get
is
it.
a great interview. It's very long. Les Claypool did a long interview with Beato. In fact, that guy is really a very good interviewer, and he did
mhm,
4 fantastic interviews. He interviewed Tony Levin,
mhm.
Sting, Les
They're
Claypool,
all amazing.
and oh my God, who am I missing? Who am I missing?
Dude,
Flea from the Chili Peppers.
oh,
And I tell you what, I could easily see Les Claypool and Tony Levin hanging out with Cheech talking about bass. They seem so down to
oh,
earth. They're both
oh,
Americans.
especially Les Claypool. I could see him and Cheech just like,
Oh,
like he'll.
Claypool's funny.
Yeah. Oh,
He's
he
so
no
Oh,
no.
funny.
He is a I love, you know, it's funny that interview with Rick Beato with Les Claypool for me,
yeah,
I turn it on in the background because it's comfort for me. It's so comforting.
yeah,
He's such a funny dude. And Rick
Yeah,
Beato is so warm. Another
yeah.
great interview that you guys probably seen it with David Gilmour is fantastic.
very
hmm
good.
Like very
Very good.
good. Like Rick Beato is one of probably one of the most underrated interviewers.
And I like the Skunk Baxter one. I don't know if you saw that
I
one.
I saw that one, yeah. And
That was a good one.
great interviews. Like they're just also great for me just to have them in the background because they're so
Yeah.
it's like friends just like talking about music and
That's what I love about Rick Beato. I wonder if he did one about the Grammys. I gotta check that out.
I haven't checked his new stuff out. But yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. He usually has he's very opinionated with certain things. But
yeah,
fair sometimes.
Well, he
yes,
interviewed Gilmore just last year
Mhm.
that's true. Yeah,
in London, I think. And
Mhm.
but yeah, Tony Levin. I never knew that the bass player for Peter Gabriel was from Rochester, New York. And I just thought that was
That's I
very
thought he was
amusing.
dude. I don't know if this is dumb, but I thought he was English.
Well, me too. Me too. And he's the nicest, sweetest guy.
Nice guy. Very unique
Yeah,
look to him too, but very nice.
yeah, yeah.
Very unique.
and he
So
plays the stick bass, which is
Very strange. Yeah.
I think he invented it or something. I never even seen anybody do that before.
yeah.
And he's on all those hits, all the Peter Gabriel hits,
Mhm.
Sledgehammer, and all that stuff
Mhm.
in the '80s.
Played with Paul Simon too.
Mhm.
Yeah,
50
yeah,
Ways to Leave Your Lover.
right, with Steve Gadd on drums. Yeah, great
They were close
drummer,
friends. Yeah. Tony Levin and
great.
What else does
There's
Steve
actually
Gadd play? Cheech, what else is
he played with Paul Simon,
this sounds familiar?
session, the big session guy. There's a great movie that Paul Simon made, and they're in it. Steve Gadd, Tony Levin. It's about Paul Simon trying to make it in the music business. It's a phenomenal movie. Just Google Paul Simon's movie. You should definitely watch it, man. You love it. I
Mm.
don't know if
Is
you
it
ever seen it,
documentary
Joe.
style?
No, it's about a guy. I don't think he's Paul Simon. Maybe it's a fake character who's trying to make it in the music industry. I haven't seen it in decades, but I just know it was really. I remember seeing Tony Levin and Steve Gadd in it and go, "Wow," you know. But I don't know if he's playing Paul Simon. I don't know.
Okay.
Was it One Trick
Cool.
Pony?
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can
wow.
see like yeah, I know it's gonna that's
Yeah,
one of the songs was a huge hit. Yeah, 1980.
yeah. 50 ways to love. 50 ways to lead your lover.
Yeah, that's 70s. That's 70s Paul Simon.
Um, what was on in 1980? What was the? Oh, what? Wait, One Trick Pony. You said was a big hit.
Yeah, 19. No, no, that's
Yes.
down the soundtrack, but it had
Yeah, yeah.
a hit song off that.
Oh,
Late in the evening.
he has so many hits. The guy, he's ridiculous. He's another one.
Going on tour. He'll be at Saratoga this summer. Paul Simon.
Oh wow, still doing it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay. Well,
All
that was
right,
fun.
guys. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I
Great
got it.
job, Joe. And till next time, think about those rock bass players, prog rock bass players. I could barely speak.
He's burnt out. Yeah. And I'll just closing line here. If anyone or fans made it this far, newcomers, please subscribe. If you love, comment below. Joe, Cheech, myself, would love to hear your opinions. Keyboard players, do you guys agree with our picks? Is there anyone that Cheech left out? Just be nice about it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Comment below. We'd
I
love to
probably
hear
did.
from you.
I probably did, but I covered a lot. I think I covered a lot.
I think you did your research, yeah.
Yeah.
And thank you, Joe. As always, your presence is always
Thanks, Joe.
amazing.
Great job,
Yeah.
Joe.
So like,
Thank you.
and then Cheech, as always, brother. Thank you for your work. The research,
Oh yeah,
pretty good.
definitely, man. Oh no, don't thank me. Thank Mr.
Oh,
Black.
Mr.
I'm
Black,
just, I'm just a
and the metal table we worship.
metal table. Yeah,
Which by the way, we haven't been nearby.
I
I
know.
took myself off. Trying to unplug myself from the top.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah. But anyway, guys, thank you, and until the next
Great,
one.
great show.
Have a
Take
good
care.
night.
All right.
Good night,
Good
guys.
night.
Nano, nano.
Nanu, nanu.
Nanu nanu.
2, 3, 4.